right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safeway Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Cool Ben Red Hot Nielsen Show. Let's go. Everybody's tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
Happy Monday, AM Nasties. What's going on? Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you. Trev, can you give me a little bit more juice? Oh, whoa, there we go. Now we're in business. Now we are in business. It is the Nielsen Show, kicking off another day of nastiness right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on TuneIn or on iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please do us a favor today and just fire your buddies a text with the link to the website, and they too can hop in for all of the fun. If you're watching over on YouTube today and you've not yet subscribed to the channel, that would be great. Working our way towards 9,500 subs over there, and of course, hammer the thumbs up as well. Lieutenant Eric, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. What a weekend it was.
What a
Weather was
weekend
great.
indeed.
I wish I was still in the tailgate, to be honest with you.
Oh.
With YouTube, Trev, and Zach come there. What a day it was yesterday. Aside from the game starting and then taking place,
Yeah.
and then ultimately ending the way it did.
It was an amazing game.
Hell of a day.
My
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Lots going on there. But
And you actually had the benefit of two good games over the weekend.
I got a couple of absolute doozies.
Great tape.
Just two phenomenal games in the Canadian Football League that I got to call. The Winnipeg-Calgary game on Friday. I was like, I don't know how you top that. That was absolutely ridiculous. And then Ottawa and Edmonton were like, hold my beer. We're going to kick it out of bounds with 8 seconds left. What are you doing? Oh, my God.
Did we get the reasoning on the decision to do that?
Well, I mean, we'll hear what Chris Jones had to say coming up here around 6:30 this morning.
We thought there were normal ways to lose inventively and creatively. This is another one. Chalk it up on the board. They're collecting them all.
On the broadcast last night with like 56 seconds left, Suits and I were talking. My good friend, Glenn Suter, took a picture with my kids and me last night. Like a nice, happy little family. Anyway, I said on the broadcast, like 56 seconds left, I said, with the way this Elks season is gone, I fully expect them to tie it and then lose on a walk-off field goal. But when you tie it with 8 seconds left, you're not thinking you're going to lose on a walk-off field goal because, they'd still have to work their way all the way down the field. Not in the Elks case.
Not if we give them half of it.
Oh, we will. Look, we're going to get into that as we work our way through the show
Mind
today.
you, though, you give them half, you do the kick, you still need to get into field goal range with not a lot of time left. One crack at it, which they do as well. So the
Drew
defense
Brown
again,
was just
needing to
throwing
stop.
absolute laser beams last
Credit
night.
to him, but
And who the hell is Khalil Pimpleton?
yeah, if we're talking Pimpleton here and Drew Brown throwing laser beams on a Monday morning, that's I don't know.
It's not going well.
I get it, but it's probably not going well, indeed.
There are so many things to discuss when it comes to this game yesterday. We're going to get to the overall experience. Of course, you can text us at 780-218-9999. The Edmonton Elks losing for the third consecutive game on a walk-off game-winning field goal. That could not have happened in the history of the Canadian Football League. Like, I have a hard time believing a team has ever lost 3 games in a row with kicks with no time left on the clock.
And the sequence it takes to get there.
Yes.
Tying things up really late and working, doing everything you need to do to get there and then to piss it away.
Babbage says, guys, I took my little girl to the game. This came in late last night. Great post game, by the way. Maddie and Milne, if you want the best post game coverage in the city, the Edmonton Elks, they got you covered right here on EST. I took my little girl to the game, had an awesome time. The Elks did it up right for a little kid to have fun at their first game. Was a little different watching the game with her and explaining when a guy is down and they're hurt. She asks what's happening. I have to say, he's just got a little owie. But even with the total bonehead final 8 seconds, we had an A-plus time at the game tonight, thanks to the Elks, and I cannot believe that they lost.
It's a hell of an atmosphere. I mean, a lot of people are like, there's going to be nobody there. Crowd was decent.
I thought it was. I know people after the game who weren't at the game were still mocking the game.
Absolutely.
But that was their best crowd of the year for sure.
Weather was a great day for a football game. Like, it was the Nielsen. That's
where
where you wanted
wheelhouse.
to be.
It was a perfect day. It really was.
Aside from the result.
It looked like a pretty good time. I had a lot of time for the dino bit they were doing.
Yep.
Those dinosaurs are hilarious. Those little T-Rexes. They are funny. I got some time for that. And the tailgate is quickly becoming one of, if not the best in the Canadian Football League. Calgary does it great. Winnipeg does it great. BC's got this great party outside. I can't necessarily comment on anything going on in the East because I don't get out there. I do remember doing some games in Toronto, and they had something decent cooking as well. The Riders have a parking lot for what could be an amazing tailgate, but they still do like Fan Fest just off to the side. I think they got to open up that parking lot right at Brandt Center and just let them go wild. I think that would be amazing. But that tailgate, I popped by quickly. Haraxi, Spirit of Edmonton, had a great crush for me. It was good.
And it was the best tailgate because out of the first 2, you had that weather. I mean, this feels like tailgate 1 of the season, and we're in mid-July, which is unfortunate, but you take them as they come.
YouTube Trev and Zacticum were... Man in the you guys were blowing through water. The sunglasses you took didn't last. The chips went right away. It was nice.
We brought a lot. We brought the bottle openers, chips, our nice water bottles, and then the sunglasses as well. Edmonton Sports Talks sunglasses, which were awesome. And we left with 5 bottle openers. It was almost
that perfect. Was all. You literally gave away everything. Like insane. The water was gone. I got there about an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff. The water was almost gone. There was like half a box of chips left, and all the sunglasses were not to be seen.
Yeah, it was great. It was an awesome outcome, and then it was cool. Just I don't know, Zach and I were I kind of just sit back and just watch Zach. He's in his element. You know, Maddie last week with the tournament, that's his thing. But Zach's just, hey, how's it going, everyone? And I'm just like, whoa, like it was beautiful. It really was. We had like a whole crowd like around our tent, and I'm just like, man, Zach, we're actually crushing it. So we got our name out there. There's still like, you know, some people that are, oh yeah, TSM 1260, Dustin Nielson, you guys, right? And I'm like, yeah, this is what we're doing right now. And so it's good to get Edmonton Sports Talk out there.
There are some good ideas.
The weather, we had a really good idea.
Pamphlets to hand out.
Bring some merch as well.
Yeah, sell some merch while we're there.
It was awesome. Yeah, and then VR was there. He helped pick me up when I was down, and he was an absolute beauty. He brought some 6 o'clock lagers as well.
Beautiful.
But yeah, Jerry brought over the sluice juice.
Oh,
which
no.
is just
no wonder you said you had such a good time at the game.
Yeah, it was very good. And then, the food was awesome. I loved it.
You love the CFL, don't you?
Yeah, it was unreal.
We're getting
it was nice. It was nice going with LT because, you know, obviously I'm still learning, but I had a lot of questions to ask, and no better guy to ask than to...
We had a good time in the game, hey?
Yeah.
Walking around the concourse and...
it was so good. I got my steps in. I can't remember walking that much. I needed to walk.
27,000 yesterday on the old...
Holy crap.
What do you call 27,000 steps?
Yeah.
My God, man.
Great,
so many steps.
Feel amazing.
27,000 steps yesterday? Good for you, man. I don't know if I took 27,000 steps in the last week.
A couple loops around that concourse will get you, too. And we found a nice little photo area as well. You can get a picture taken with a couple of...
Yeah.
Cool.
If you look back of that, our partners at William Huff have been doing it since 1952. We had a nice little deal with the Elks, and there's a photo wall now next to one of the beer concessions, and we're talking on the east side.
Yeah, Legends around there or something like that. I think J-Mo was saying. But yeah, you go into
by the Legends Club. Yeah.
So not around the main, but it was nice. Again, Huff. I mean,
It looks real nice.
Not even surprised with the work that they do anymore. But
the
red carpet and everything. Spare no expense.
They do such a good job. I feel like you're like, how is that on there? Is it painted on there? Is it wrapped on there? I feel like they take the bricks away and like take it to the shop and put them on right there. You know, I don't know how you can do that in person. It's phenomenal stuff. So yeah, next time you're at a game, swing on by, get your picture with us, and tag us on social media. Teef was there.
Yeah, Teef was there. It was so cool when we saw the photo. LT jumped right in, and he's like, "Hey, that's me!" And then people were like, "Hey, that's you." It was so good, actually.
That is good. That's the way it should be, man. So my kids went and got pictures in front of it. They thought it was absolutely amazing. A Teef texted me last night. What time was this? 9:35. Dusty, I met your family at the tailgate at the game. Tell your family they rock. It was horror to meet the Marshall, and your wife.
Total horror. Yeah.
I think he meant it was an honor, but he actually typed it was horror to meet the Marshall, and your wife.
He was. He took that, like when Tammy went up to him too. He was very starstruck himself. It was all just a big love fest there down there at the EST booth.
It was.
It's nice to be right across from Spirit as well, conveniently enough.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I got to talk to Trent Brown because James H. Brown is right next to us, and you guys have Zacticum's red. What's he drive? What's Zacticum drive?
It's old. Oh, what is it?
RAV4.
Yeah,
it's RAV4-ish.
Yeah,
it's not like, but it's like a RAV4.
It's very similar.
Anyway, so you guys have like Zach's shoddy RAV4 backed up with the top open, and James H. Brown has the flashiest yellow truck of all time.
Yeah.
It's just, come on, you're killing us here. You're killing us. I thought that was funny. Couple of the pictures in the background, like you see our tent. We're getting a tent made, an Edmonton Sports Talk tent made from Bruce and the team over at William Huff, but it's not ready yet. But we got this random red tent, Zach's small little SUV, and then James H. Brown just like
he just.
I'm surprised they didn't drive over us.
He asserted his dominance
on their way in. Yeah, it's just
Zach's just like, wow, nice vehicle. Just typical Zach fashion.
Where do you work?
Wow, that's a lovely truck you have there.
Look, we're going to dive into the game. We're basically going to spend the entire show today talking about the game. But the point here being made is that it's still a good time at the Elks game.
God, the best time.
The boys are having a good time. My kids had a great time last night. It was just, and you'd like to see them win, and we'll break down why they lost again. But it was overall, it was a pretty good time. I do have to talk though about these people who are rolling into the tailgate with 45 minutes before the game.
One dude in his car, they snaked up and down. They were looking, they couldn't
They
find
didn't know where their spot was.
They were going up and down, and not even like a way. They're like, yeah, like keep going, drive through that. Like, a little appreciation would have gone a long way, but no, just zipping up and down. Yeah, that's got to change a bit, I think.
If you're going to pay for a spot in the tailgate section, do not roll in 2 hours after the tailgate began.
I have no point in it. At that standard, they're setting up. I mean, people are taking down.
I was walking in and I was like, "What's this? Who the hell are you?" All of a sudden, this guy rolling up, and just like I was just like, "What are you?
Lost?
Why aren't you here already?" Like, so I know it'd be like sticklers for the rules here because they paid for that spot. But there's got to be a rule where if you're not there at least 2 hours before the game, you're not pulling into your tailgate spot.
I made my way around, and there were a few people that had spots saying there needs to be a cutoff time.
Yes.
Also a time to get in. Like, I mean, there should be times, but you can't. Up until this point, no more. If you were to set up, you should have been set up a while ago. You're not going to do anything a half an hour. There's a pointless to go in there a half an hour.
Trev, what time do you guys get
kickoff.
there and set up?
2:00.
So you're 2 o'clock for the 5 o'clock game.
Yeah.
And there's already people setting up.
Yeah, like as soon as I got there, we're like 1:55, and then you hear all of a sudden, I just look over, all these vehicles come storming in. I'm like, oh gosh, here we go.
Here we go, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, right at 2, like give it 10 minutes, so everyone was all set up.
Next home game is July 28th. It's a Sunday. It's a 5 o'clock again. And look, people go to the Riverhawks games and don't care if they win or lose. I think it's different because the Elks have had such a winning legacy and have been around for such a long time. You want to see,
but we go to Riverhawks
but you can
games
still
too.
have a good time. Like
The building and the views and everything. It's not like it's a dive.
There's
it's
not a bad
dump.
seat at Commonwealth.
No,
Like,
so I mean, and you're not going and the things are leaking on your head or things. It's a nice place to go for a game. You include the tailgating. Yeah, it's a fun time and. Yes, people did go to the Riverhawks not caring what the baseball was like and couldn't name a player on the damn
go
squad.
for the experience.
So,
I hopefully you would still have fun at an Elks game. Now we've said enough nice things about them.
Oh, sure.
We're gonna have to tear them apart here today as well because, oh my God. Let's lay out the show for you first, and then we'll hear what Chris Jones had to say coming up just after 6:30 this morning. I want to get to this. You can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, 22 stores in 4 provinces across the country. Check them out, www.parisjewelers.com. The Nielsen Show today and every day brought to you by the great folks out at South Fort Chevrolet, your go-to dealership for Silverado 1500s and heavy duties. Go see Daniel and his team at South Fort Chev and tell them Dusty or anybody from the EST team sent you. And not only will they take good care of you, they'll also give you 15% off accessories on your new ride. www.southfortchev.com. Just a short drive from the east end of Edmonton. South Fort Chevrolet, 10109 89th Ave in Fort Sask. Brandon from Windsor to the Paris Jewelers inbox today. Pimpleton explodes into the end zone. Spit my beer out. Should have replaced it with explodes with pops, Dusty. Actually,
Good on you for squeezing that one in there.
He looks like a younger version of Lucky Whitehead. Because that's it. No, but I did get a Pimpleton Pops earlier. He got hit. He had 2 catches, and then he got hit. And we went through the replay, and then after it kind of slowed down, I said, and Pimpleton gets popped. I've been waiting years to make zit references. And now we've got a guy. And man, does he look like something.
No remedy for the zit, though. That's the problem. And yes, he does. And he comes with some pedigree as well. Remember that name.
Yeah, he's
unintended.
He's going to be a waiver wire claim in both of our CFL fantasy leagues this week.
Speed demon.
Ontario Wilson from Winnipeg goes off for over 200 yards, too, and he's on our waiver wire.
Did any of them play quarterback? It's a shame the one position I'm flush in, I don't need any of these speed burners, but...
Okay, now, did you not...
I'm done.
Did you waive Zach Collaros?
Oh, yeah, I dropped him, of course. Because he was done. He was 0-4, he wasn't doing anything, and then his thorax was hurt.
No, can you reclaim him now?
Oh, he's done. He's on somebody else's team. Somebody else's
Rick.
team. I got Bo Levi Mitchell.
Oh, you got Bo. He's
putting up yards, yeah.
You don't worry about wins in fantasy.
I'm not totally toast. I can always pick up...
Okay, all right, well, that's okay then.
No,
That's okay. I like this one. Okay, here's a show for you today. We're going to get into your morning announcements right away. Details on the Nasty Bash, which is 2 Fridays from now. It's going to be a good time. Sports update coming up at 6:30. We'll hear Chris Jones postgame. Trev, you got that? We'll get to Chris Jones postgame coming up here just after 6:30. Does he get fired today? That's a conversation that we'll have as we work our way through the show this morning. The good, bad, and ugly from the weekend still to come as well. Just after 7 o'clock's Mix and Match Mondays for Pro-Am Sports. I've got a fresh set of line combinations for your Edmonton Oilers. This one features Evander Kane being on the LTIR. Ooh, dum, 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 dum. Cool Bet hotline of the day. That's good. For Italian Center, we'll go there around 7:30 today. We'll try to fix the Elks, obviously, along the way here as well. Kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many. That hurts for the fine injury lawyers over at SBLLP. 8:30 this morning, and then the wrap for William Huff. So we do have a busy show for you today. Let's dive into your morning announcements, brought to you by 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock. All right, tell me about the Euro. Tell me about Copa.
Well,
How
it's
about
not
the
coming
finishes there?
home, which is I'm glad
Yeah.
at that. I was on foot during the Euro final. Got to the tailgate, talked to a few Spanish fans, and they're like, "Yes, the job is done." I'm like, "Great, grand, awesome." So didn't watch too much of that. Copa America. I mean, last time we spoke, Canada had to play
was getting
the,
ready for the
Man, and that
third
was,
place game.
and they had Uruguay and Suarez getting it in stoppage time. Then it goes to penalties, and they whatever. I mean, you've played another good country that has some pedigree. You take that, you move on. I think Jesse Marsh had his big post game rumble and told everybody he was proud of them, so that's good. But Argentina again, full money as well. They showed up. They're the best team in the world right now, and they proved it 1-0.
do it again, right?
There you go. That's how they do it. So. Good thing is both these tournaments are over and roll on Olympics, right?
yeah.
You think these soccer tournaments suck? Wait till you see Olympic soccer. Wow.
Is Olympic soccer even
Terrible. Well, nobody wants to really. Nobody's eligible to play it to begin with.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So you can skip Olympic soccer. Can we say that?
I'm going to be. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to dive in.
No, I'll totally skip it as well, Eric. I'll be unified with you on the skipping
Yeah.
Olympic soccer front.
And we got a home run derby tonight, too. Hey, in the old.
Oh, baseball's still happening? Yeah, home run derby. You know what? That'll suck me back in.
It's the dog days of summer now. You
it'll
know,
suck me
that's
back in.
A couple
Home run
dingers
derby tonight.
You know, put some hot dogs on the grill.
CFL weekend, outstanding. I mean, just absolutely tremendous stuff.
Absolutely.
Vernon Adams Jr.
Well.
is just torching the league right now.
Say this, though. Harris is in that game. Riders win.
Yes, I love
I think the
I love
Lions
the early
provided
CFL
just
hot
a bit
takes.
of the Lions provided. They left a few doors open that the Riders didn't really take advantage of. I
You're
think.
not wrong.
Yes, but a great game nonetheless.
Could have been a different result with Trevor Harris.
And
there.
full
They're-
credit to BC.
You're going to get Trevor Harris back here at some point, right? So,
But Jamarcus Hardwick going down too. That's another tough 2 weeks. 2 bad injuries for the Rough Riders.
the only kind of dud from the weekend was the Thursday night game. Argos got by the Alouettes 37-18. Mind you, that's a story itself because the Alouettes, Cody Fajardo gets hurt.
Terrible.
Alouettes lose their first game of the season.
Yeah.
Then on Friday, I was in Winnipeg to call the Stampeders and Bombers, a game that was just absolutely ridiculous. In the final 2 minutes and 24 seconds of the first half, Ontario Wilson, 30-yard touchdown catch, followed immediately by a Dietrich Nichols 55-yard interception return, pick six, and you're like, oh, man, Calgary, they've fallen apart here. They answer back less than a minute later with a 32-yard pass to Eric Brooks. 3 touchdowns in a 1 minute and 10-second stretch in the Canadian Football League. Like, you have to love this stuff. And then it comes down to a couple passing touchdowns late in the fourth quarter, and the Bombers make it 2 in a row, get by the Stampeders 41-37. Then you mentioned the Lions-Riders game. It was pretty close till the end. Like, they kind of sealed it away.
Yeah.
Shout out to our buddy Sean White. Goes 7 for 7. Has hit 39 in a row. Legendary numbers right now for Whitey.
Yep.
And then wraps yesterday with the Edmonton Elks losing 37-34 on another walk-off game-losing field goal. Lewis Ward knocks it through. CFL kickers this year are just, I'm going to get to it during the good, bad, and ugly, but these guys, with the exception of Boris Beatty, I guess, lights out. Lights out. All right, let's continue with this Elks game. You realize, after the game, I was sitting there looking and talking to the suits in the booth. I said, you realize they did like the one thing they couldn't do. Like, all you have to not do in that situation is kick the ball out. You'll hear Chris Jones after
Same as last year.
6:30.
All you had to do is run the ball out of the end zone. I mean, these are things.
I know.
These one significant individual moments.
Well, or what could have happened, and I know Jones talked about they had enough time. They wanted Beatty to try to hammer it through the end zone for the Rouge to
Yep.
win the game.
Yeah.
And right when he stepped up to it, I was like, man, we talk all the time about Beatty has a huge leg. Like, can he hammer this thing all the way down and have it bounce through the end zone? And then I guess maybe he tried to drive it low and hard, but he pulls it out of bounds. They get it on the 50, one quick pass, game over. Lewis Ward walks it off. But they didn't have to have any time left on the clock. They could have ran that clock down to 1 and then snapped on third down. The game's over one way or the other, right? You're either punching it in or you get stopped on third and you're turning it over on downs anyway. But I watched it again last night. They snapped the ball with like 12 seconds on the clock. There was no I don't know where the direction is from the offensive coordinator or any sort of coach on the far side of the field telling Prukop, like, hey, we might as well just take this down. And so that alone was botched. And then you step up and botch the kick. Like, it was the only thing you couldn't do. Even if you were to kick it deep, first of all, I would think they were aware of it, but Devontae Dedmon was out of the game. So you didn't have to worry about Devontae Dedmon returning the kick with 8 seconds left in the game. Now, with the way Pimpleton had played, you never know with that guy. He looks like a freak. But you could have kicked it. By the time the tackle is made, there's probably only 2 seconds on the clock. That's going to take 4, 5, 6 seconds off the clock on a deep kick. So just horrible management of the game in the final 8 seconds, if you can believe it.
But it does get to that point. I think MBT, there was the chance going around of we want Trey. That was a thing. Again, I've been going on here defending him lightly. I don't think it necessarily these games and results have been his fault, but maybe not the best night. Now 0-5 as a starting quarterback here in this market, which is, it's glaring, but
like, he didn't throw an interception.
I know, but it just...
Javon Leake has fumbled twice now this year. That Javon
hurts.
Leake fumble late in the first, what was it, 15-6. And you've got the ball. You're on Ottawa side of the field. There's 2 minutes left in the first half. You're thinking putting 7 more up and being up 22-6 at half. Instead, Javon Leake, and watching on the replay, his hand was not hit on the fumble. He got hit below the waist, and the ball popped out up here, and Ottawa gets it back and drives the field, and it's a 2-point game at the half. Like, that's not on MBT.
Nope.
And I'm sitting here going, well, what else? I mean, you change it just to make a change.
Because you can't change anything else right now.
It's not like he handed them the game.
No.
His team scored 34 bloody points. They gave up. And this is why, and I'm going to basically take a shot at ourselves as we work our way through the show today, because we're going to have the quarterback conversation. Of course, you have to have it today. But their defense gave up 480 yards passing to Drew Brown, a guy who we weren't even sure was going to start the game 4 days ago. Trey Ford could be in there. And if you still allow 480 yards passing, I mean, who's going to win that game? Like, their defense sucks. Their special teams has been subpar. Their offense was inconsistent at times last night, but still banged out 34 points for you.
Yeah.
You score 34 points, you should be able to win a bloody football game. I mean, it's that simple.
And the defense was just supposed to be almost the crown jewel of a Chris Jones-led team. Anything but right now.
The Elks' losses so far this year, one game they had 36 points, one game they've had 34. Lost both of them. They have, outside of maybe Hamilton, the worst defense in the entire Canadian Football League. So maybe you do make a quarterback change simply to give the team a different look. But I'm not sitting there watching that game last night going, well, if Trey Ford's in, they win this game.
I think the quarterback change, as you mentioned, though, lightly, is the only change you can make now opposed to
what else are you supposed to do?
Well, you know the change I'm talking about. That's not going to happen due to the current ownership structure of the and that's what fans want.
In a regular situation, Chris Jones would be fired today. Is that an unfair statement?
No, it's not. And people could argue it should have been weeks or maybe months ago, but I think the quarterback change would be one of those things, regardless if MBT is going off or whatever. It's that pound of flesh. It's something. And again, what we see from Trey Ford in his game is a little excitement. So maybe that if you're not winning games, you might as well lose them in a more exciting fashion than more of a textbook fashion. I don't know, but that's the change people are screaming out for. You can't have it. So here's
that's the other thing that I don't know if I can buy though, because their last 3 games have been thrilling. Like, they're losing exciting football games. It's not like they're losing duds. They've got the narrowest point margin in the league for losses, and it came down yesterday. Like, they're not losing duds. They're not getting blown out. They're losing exciting football games. Like, their quarterback's averaging more than 300 yards passing a game. They're not losing
but you want them to
boring games. They're losing exciting games.
60 yards rushing by a quarterback, then you lose the
exciting game. If they called a quarterback draw to MBT on that final drive, I mean, that's what it looked like. Now, there was a 3-man front. They brought one more. I wonder if MBT decided to make that call on his own, because I don't know who in the world from an offensive coordinator position is going to put in in a critical moment in the game, a quarterback draw for one of the least mobile quarterbacks in the league. That made zero sense.
Yeah.
So their defense sucks. There's no two ways about it. Their defense sucks. They've got 2 receivers in the top 10 in the Canadian Football League. They got Geno Lewis finally going a little bit last night as well.
Yeah.
Their quarterback's top 4 in passing yards in the league so far. He's got 9 touchdown passes so far in the season. Didn't have an interception last night, which has kind of been his one Achilles heel. And they lost the football game. Does any of that sound like offense cost them the game? No. Defense and stupidity cost them the football game. Can't argue that. Like, that's just the facts. Anyway, we're hear what Chris Jones had to say. Do you think there's any way they let him go today, Ray?
No.
I think if they had a legitimate head coaching candidate on staff,
Yeah.
it might, like if this was Calgary and they had Mark Killams in there, and Mark Killams like been rumored to be a head coach somewhere here actually at times for years now. And that's a different situation. I just don't know who you would promote to head coach and say, okay, you ride it out. Ownership will take over.
Well, that's
and we'll
right.
have a
Ride
new
it
head
out.
coach
So
next
who's
year.
Jason Shivers rides it out here, and
guess.
then that's it. And then you have to, but you can't bring in like a stopgap thing. It needs to be a full cleaning. If you're gonna go with Shivers, that's fine, but it's a riding out thing. It's not a moving forward thing.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. Let's change 50 while he does this sports update. We're going to hear what Chris Jones had to say on the other side of this thing. Good, bad, and ugly from the weekend as well, and some new Oilers line combinations for all of you hockey hardos coming up just after 7 o'clock today as well. You can text us anytime at 780-218-9999. Big Maple says, every time I hear the name Ontario Wilson, it sounds like the name the Simpsons would use if they did an episode around the Canadian Football League. And it's not Ontario Wilson, it's Ontario Wilson.
Yes.
Whereas somebody tweeted at me over the weekend, Ontario Wilson, more like Manitoba Wilson.
Did play though, signed by the LA Chargers, so he does have like legit football. You know.
Oh, so he's a real player.
He's a real player.
Yeah.
Same with Pimpleton, New York Giants. So these guys
Yeah.
are actually
Pimpleton as
not
well.
just CFL weird
Well,
unicorn players.
These guys are real. Well, no, that being said, Pimpleton will have more success here than he would ever have south of the border.
Sure.
I mean, that dude
He's tailor-made
fits
for the
this
game.
league
Yeah.
like a glove. Can't wait to watch more of him. All right, let's get to a sports update with LTE. We'll hear what Chris Jones had to say post-game on the other side. If you want to chime in, Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999.
Lewis Ward with the walk-off field goals. The Elks dropped to 0-5 with a 37-34 loss to the Red Blacks down at Commonwealth. Elks defense running 480 yards through the air. The home and home with the Red Blacks will continue into Week 7 when Edmonton visit Ottawa on Friday. Lautaro Martinez scored the lone goal in the 112th minute of extra time. Argentina taking Copa America 1-0 over Colombia. On the hard court, the Stingers fall on the road 105-104 to Niagara. Stingers dropped to 11-7 on the season. Next up, they'll round out a 3-game road trip in Saskatchewan Thursday against the Rattlers. Riverhawks doubled up in Victoria 6-3 as the Harbor Cats take 2 of 3 over the weekend. Hawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield as the West Coast League's All-Star Game goes Wednesday from Joe Martin Field out in Bellingham. Prospects, meanwhile, they drop one out in Sherwood Park 7-4 to the Sylvan Lake Gulls, with the Blue Jays victorious down in Arizona as they avoid the sweep 8-7 over the Diamondbacks. Home Run Derby goes tonight from Arlington, followed by tomorrow's All-Star Game. The Jays, they're back home to host the Tigers on Friday.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielsen Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interests. Just Dusty and Eric and all at the back end. Like Brzezinski and Noodles, Gavin can gauge it. If it's but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late. flood the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some Huntix and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat up the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramella, Rapapo, Drager, and Tanier. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin in the tales of the north. I'll run a game in person, does he go forth? What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielsen Trophy flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh, there's nothing you can do about it. What is this, an Elks song?
Well, that's yeah.
We tell you, it's a good time of the game, but it'd be better if they pulled off a dub. Somewhere along the way. The Nielsen Show presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Check them out at 10109 89th Ave, Fort Sask. Or before you head out there, check out their website, www.southfortchev.com, your go-to dealership for the Silverado 1500s and the heavy duties. Text of the day today. Keep those texts hammering in here. If you have a Khalil Pimpleton zit pun, might be how you win text of the day today. Text of the day is for A&W, and how about this? It's time to load up. Wednesday, July 17th is National Hot Dog Day. And A&W has you covered. Enjoy an iconic whistle dog with cheddar cheese, bacon, and relish. You can hold the relish. All served on a split wiener with a toasted bun. You can enjoy your second whistle dog for only $1. That's right. Buy one whistle dog. Get your second whistle dog for only $1. This offer is available only on Wednesday, July 17th for National Hot Dog Day. That just happens to be me and my wife's wedding anniversary.
Oh, my goodness.
We were going to go to a steakhouse, but now we're going to get whistle dogs. That's great.
West Coast League All-Star game as well. You can celebrate by
That very same
they
day.
got it on MLB TV.
Oh,
Five
my
Riverhawks down some dogs, and
It's on MLB TV?
they picked it up. The All-Star game, yeah.
What?
West Coast League, yeah.
Good for them. July 17th. Buy a whistle dog, get a second whistle dog for only $1. All I'll say is, you're welcome,
Split wiener.
world. All right. People are asking what the attendance was. Wheels says he's guessing it's around 28,000. What was the official
Tailgate?
announced
Yeah,
attendance?
probably 28,000.
At the tailgate, yeah.
No, it was jam packed.
I thought did they announce 20? I don't think they announced 28. I thought they announced like 18 or something.
Probably something like that.
I thought it was a decent crowd.
It actually was.
Yeah.
For what we were all expecting. Oh, nobody's gonna be there. Blah, blah,
They're
blah.
0-4.
Weather was nice. It was a good day. I mean, it was a good game, as you mentioned. I mean, it's not like they were completely played out of
They got to
their own
deliver some
field.
dubs for these people,
But
right?
yeah, it's the frustration mounts, it grows.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't get it. And your buddy Eddie from TSN, Chris Edwards, there. Can't remember the tweet here, but again, Elks may be 0-4, 0-5 now, but they are winning in the tailgate party category.
Yeah.
Might be the best in the CFA. It's quite a remarkable thing. And Bones chimes in as well. Wouldn't this be something? They wait until the Elks get the win and then fire Jones.
Take that.
Do the old switcheroo.
Hey, I don't know if you can wait that long.
Well, get in the bottle there.
All right, do we have Chris Jones? Let's hear what Chris Jones had to say. So the Elks are now, like when we say pretty good crowd. It wasn't a good crowd for 2015 Elks, Eskimos at the time, but it was a good crowd for a team that is 2-27 in their last 29
Actually, I'd say so.
at home. When you think about it, Chris Jones after the game, here's what he had to say.
All right, Coach, another tough one. Kick right at the end. Can you tell us about just that much time left on the end of the clock and what happened there?
Well, Boris tried to overkick the ball, ended up hitting the ball out of bounds, which we wanted to try to kick it as deep as we could to try to kick it through the end zone if we could to get a point. He overkicked the ball, ended up giving them the ball at midfield, and gave them an opportunity to try and win the game.
Tell us a little bit about the defense tonight. A lot of explosion plays. How do you deal with
Yeah, that's called the cutter route. And, we got beat by the cutter route, probably about 200 yards of offense. And we got beaten man, we got beaten zone. And unfortunately, defensively, we certainly didn't show up today.
So tell us a little. You brought Ron Creef in as a leader and a vet on that defense. Did you see that playing a role, or did that help today?
Well, I mean, he's not responsible for that route, so if that's what you're alluding to, but he played, pretty good for a guy that came in late, but that's more in the secondary round.
Right.
Did you at least like the way the team battled back down by 10 going into the last quarter?
Well, I mean, certainly you like the fact that they won't quit. I mean, that's certainly something that you can be proud of. But about your guys, but we create ways to not win games, and we've got to fix that. I mean, Boris has been a kicker in this league a long time, and we just made an error there. He tried to play too hard, tried to do too much, and we've all been guilty of trying to play and do something outside the framework of what we're asked to do, and unfortunately, it bit us once again.
Is there a benefit being able to play them again so quickly, kind of knowing what needs to be fixed?
Well, I mean, five-day week with a travel's never fun, but the good thing is we're at least playing the same team, so they got the same situation we do. They've got to fly back home and play us in 5 days. So certainly we've got some things to fix on defense and really all three phases, because I felt like they outplayed us today in all three phases.
On the offense, McLeod struggled a little bit today. Crowd's getting a little loud, chanting for "We want Trey." Do you guys hear that on the sideline?
Yeah, you hear it, and it's they pay for the tickets to get in the games, and it's their prerogative to it doesn't help, but it makes a guy that's done nothing but work as hard as he possibly can. He's here without his family, and he lives right over here. I'm sorry. He lives right over here, and he's in here till like 8 or 9 at night. So it certainly doesn't help, but that's just part of football. Fans are going to do what they do, and Trey's a good little player, and he's our backup quarterback for a reason. The numbers tell us who to play, and McLeod certainly struggled, throwing the ball early especially, but he came back and made some plays for us there at the end.
On a positive note, there seems to finally Gino gets into the play a little bit more. Tell us about seeing that connection happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we need to do, and then KB, we got to get KB going as well. I mean, so we've got good players at those positions, and certainly he made some great plays for us today.
All right, there you go. That is Chris Jones, head coach and general manager of the Edmonton Elks. I mean, a couple of things to get to. One, they do have great players.
I wonder your thoughts, too, from the booth. Moncrief and Oakman combining for 4 tackles for losses between the two. Were those, Oakman specifically wasn't asked about, but did you see I
thought Oakman made an impact.
An impact?
Yeah, I think he made it. He's going to help them.
Good.
Coming into the game, I think they were 8th or 9th in the league against the run. Rock Armstead didn't do much.
Yeah.
And he was averaging 5.6 yards per carry. He didn't get anything going on the ground yesterday. And I thought Moncrief actually made a couple pretty good tackles. I was impressed by his impact because he didn't go to a training camp or anything, so he's still kind of getting up to speed. So I like those 2 additions. Now, did it help? I don't know. They gave up 480 yards passing,
but not rushing, as you mentioned.
But not rushing. So
that
was good. Now go out and bring in a couple of vets in the secondary.
Well,
I guess. Chris Jones's strength is supposed to be defense. This team's biggest weakness is defense. They brought in another defensive coordinator in Shivers, who did some good things with the Riders, right?
But he's not there anymore. I think the defense last year, you make a case that yes, the wheels came off offensively, and the defense had to keep hanging on, but that faded. I just think again, Shivers, if you're going to go this way and have a stopgap coach coming in, he is from the school of Chris Jones. He's an assistant to Jones. He's all this. So, I don't know. It's more of the same, really, just with a different name and face to it, in my opinion. It is a Jones. It's not fundamentally different than what Jones runs or anything like that. So, it's a change for namesake. Shivers coming in here and doing it, but it's still Jones's thing.
Well, that's one of the things that Moncrief said. Moncrief said, I've played this system my entire career.
Exactly. So
right? Because he was in Regina with Jones.
Yeah.
Came here with Jones. Well, I think was the Elks Defensive Player of the year he was here before, 2019. Then went back to the Riders with Shivers, who's running the Jones defense anyway. But this defense is atrocious.
It's just all 5 years later now again.
Yeah.
And, I don't see any way out of it. Again, from the only thing is, and that's what everybody wants, is to move on from this regime, if you want to call it that, I guess. And moving around the deck chairs and giving that guy a title, I don't think it cuts it anymore. Certainly not for the fan base.
The other thing he said in there, he was asked because there were "We Want Trey Ford" chants at Commonwealth last night. I think "We Want Trey" was the actual chant.
Yeah.
I heard it a little bit. I wasn't sure if it would pick up on TV, but a lot of people who were watching at home were like, "Oh yeah, we could hear it." Now, so we were watching, like we had a camera on Trey at times on the sideline, and at no point was he warming up. Like, I don't think there was at any point it was even a thought process that he was actually going to get into that game, despite now "We Want Trey" chants at their last 2 home games. Do you think there is any chance in the world, if Chris Jones is still the head coach of this team on Friday, which I'm pretty sure he will be, is there any chance Trey Ford starts that football game?
No. You heard it there, I think. I think Jones's words were illustrated enough. And talking about MBT, living down the street and working till 8 on, that's his guy. And he said the numbers show it, and that's fine. I think fan bases go to this because there's nothing else. You're not going away from the head coach. You're not going away from a coordinator. You're not doing anything else. So what's the next step? We need a change at quarterback. And again, I hear what you're saying, and McLeod, like numbers-wise and everything, like he's not bad, but it's just people want change for change sake, and that's the next docket that you can get. You can't change the coordinators, can't change the coach right now, can't change any management or everything. You got to go to quarterback. Would he come in and light the world on fire? No. Would he provide a few exciting plays? Sure, more excitement than MBT, but that's not to say that MBT is the cause and reason for all these losses, which is all a very funny thing because
it's a weird conversation.
Because the ice is very thin right now.
Yeah.
And for Jones needs to do something, like he needs to do the things that are going to give him the wins. But again, the Boris Beatty decision to kick it, it's not a bad call, but you got to execute. So they need to do things to win yesterday. And in terms of doing experiments with Trey Ford and everything, like it's not probably going to get you there. It'll be fun, but it's just going to be another fun way to lose. Maybe this isn't the funnest way. Maybe you want another more fun, thrilling quarterback bounding off some rushing yards.
That's the thing.
It doesn't really move anything for me, but it's just a move for move's sake or a change for change's sake because the fan base really can't get any change anywhere else above that quarterback position.
That's a really good point.
I think that's kind of that.
I don't
that's
think
the
it happens,
frustration
though.
you read, right? Like it's.
And I also don't even know, like, would it be a short leash for MBT against Ottawa? Like, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Like,
and again,
Chris
if he
Jones,
comes out and stinks it up, like if he's really
2
struggling hard for
interceptions,
some
they're
reason,
down by
but I ain't
20.
seen that
like,
happening, like because he's not.
They remain in the thick of it.
Could you say yesterday he could have been better? And there were times, yes, and that was kind of my point earlier too. Is that I think in situations yesterday, and I mean, you mentioned that sneak, like I don't know what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I don't
and again,
know.
put Trey Ford in a package and let him do those things.
There was a drive earlier in the fourth quarter where completed the first pass, then got sacked twice. I don't think he had a ton of time in either of those situations. This offensive line, in my opinion, is still one of the bottom 3 offensive lines in the Canadian
Football
Football
run game
League.
established at all yesterday
Right.
either, and it's not like the game was. They weren't playing chase. They were in the driver's seat.
They
for a good
could have
chunk
tried
of
to
it.
go to Brown a little
You
bit
could
more.
have. I mean,
yeah. And Kevin Brown had a couple of really hard runs at the beginning of that
Yeah.
football game. But Chris Jones did say the numbers say that MBT is a starting quarterback, but the only number that really truly matters right now is the big 0 in the win column. So,
and for all the offensive stats he's putting up, he is 0-5 as a starter since his return to the league. So that's what that is.
now, if they had any sort of defense, he'd be 2-3 or 3-2. Offensively,
Team game.
he's done enough to at least put them in a spot where they should close out some of these football games, but they simply can't. Like, as a defense, how do you even after the not running the clock down before scoring on third down, even after Boris Beatty doing the one thing you can't possibly do in that situation, kicking it out of bounds, you still had your chance for the defense to stop Drew Brown, and they didn't.
He had to get into field goal range.
Yes.
The Beatty thing, okay, yeah, you're right. You go back on the tape, you still had to stop him. And the Red Blacks, all it took was one play. They need to get it down the field one play, and they did it. You can't allow that to happen in that much. That is.
And it was thrown. Yeah. I'll give Drew Brown a lot of credit here. He was carrying a big set of nuts. He gunned that thing right over one defender, and Pimpleton was in between 3 other dudes, and they dropped it in there.
Yeah,
Like, it was
it's
a
a hell of it,
perfectly
yeah.
placed football.
Yeah.
But you just can't allow it in that situation.
No.
So more heartbreak for the Edmonton Elks. Penner's Pancakes over in the Nasty Chat says, Beatty and the defense lost last night's game, but they do need to play forward. He will at least bring a few more people into the stands. I would like to believe you in that situation, but I don't necessarily know if people are like, oh, I'm going to go watch now because Trey Ford's playing when they're 0-5. Or 0-6 by the time they come home if they don't beat Ottawa on Friday.
I think there's a subsection of the fans, though, that would see it as getting their wish. And then, like,
yeah, but they're still just going to be complaining about stuff on Twitter and not going to games.
Something else to complain about. So. But I just think in CJ's point of view too, like when he was asked, "Did you hear the chanting?" He says it with gritted teeth. I don't think he's going to throw any sort of carrot or bone to the fan base right now. And in fact, I could see him sticking with it just to say, "Eat that," you know. Like there seems to be
dies on this hill.
There is such a rift between. And I guess what you're seeing in Regina with Mace now, like that is a total opposite of this, right? You brought in a guy who swan dives into the culture, and here you have a coach hearing the fans chant one thing, and not even really, and then saying, yeah, I hear it, but we're not going to go with it, and it's this continued tugging back and forth, push and pull. I don't like you, you don't like me. It's just not a good relationship, and I've been going on this. I want to come on. We've been carrying water for. I love Chris Jones as a coach. I love him as DC. I love him. I've loved him a lot. He's brought through some great players into this league and populated this league with great players and talent. But it just seems right now that it's just there's so much going on, and his.
That was a huge sigh.
He
right
doesn't do those things. Like he's usually pretty like, let him get to it. He was visibly shaken. This is taking a lot out of him.
I almost think I think we had a camera on him as the kick was coming down the field, and I think I saw him go, "Oh no, you can't do that!"
Oh my God.
And then lost.
Well,
it.
And this goes back again. We are now a season removed from what happened in Regina with the player not taking the ball out of the Sims, I do believe it was. I mean, these problems and issues. This isn't a new thing here.
Yeah.
This has been going on and on and on. It's not getting changed or remedied. So it can be Chris Jones, Jason Shivers, whoever it is, ain't working.
All right, this text was in. It says, guys, I was there with my family for my son's birthday party. We don't expect them to win, and it's fun to hang out. It's a good spot to be if you get over the fact that they're going to find a way to lose. Lots of Trey Ford text, too. We'll get to a few of those as we continue to work our way through the show. Let's get into our good, bad, and ugly from the weekend, though. And Lieutenant Eric, where are you going for your good, buddy? What do you got?
I'm just going to say the weekend as a whole, of course, summer is here. All-star games for baseball this week, both West Coast League, MLB, and whatnot. The Rickies were in town for a wedding. Lindsay
the
Ricci there,
Rickies,
so that was good. Had some people over. AC was fixed. So it was a nice, cool time. Going out, eating, culminating with the game yesterday, which, again, the tailgate, nobody wanted to go in. We're all outside. Kickoff's, you got to start tearing down.
You get
soon.
a little bit of a buzz on.
And Vera Montenegro, who proudly proclaims that he hasn't been to a game yet, but just goes to the tailgating, which I really love, too.
Did he go to the game yesterday?
No, he just...
Are you serious?
Shows up with a sack of popsicles and his 2 hoots. He had about 38 hoots down there in liquid form.
I love VR just going to the tailgate but not going to the game.
He lives it. Wife out of town again, so he's living the good life. No, it's just a great weekend. And as you mentioned, down the docket of CFL football, it was a full bag, aside from Cody Fajardo going down and a bad and ugly weekend for my Memphis Mad Dogs in the Dunya. But yeah, I'm just, my good is an overall good weekend. Weather, 27,000 steps, tailgating.
My good from the weekend is CFL. This is going to be tough being here in Edmonton after Beatty blows one out of bounds last night. But CFL kicking overall this season has been outstanding.
It was perfect, I think, the week before. They were all perfect.
Yeah. It was it's the highest percentage of kicks being made in the history of the Canadian Football League. Lewis Ward, who one time hit almost 70 in a row or whatever it was, he's now hit 12 in a row. Paredes, I don't think has missed yet this season. Sean White hasn't missed yet this season and has hit 39 in a row. He was 7 for 7 on Saturday against the Riders.
Chasing down Louis here. I love it.
Lewis Ward, Sean White, and Paredes are the 3 most accurate kickers in the history of the Canadian Football League. And they're putting it all on display this year. I've got to call. This is insane. We're in week 6. I've called 3 walk-off game-winning field goals now. And there's been 5 or 6. Phenomenal stuff from the CFL. What's your bad from the weekend?
I think the bad would be Canada. No, like you could say Canada. It was good for Canada to get where they got in the Copa
They
America.
let it slip away though, right? Like,
But it just would have been so great. And we talked about, who wanted this more in Uruguay, with everything that happened against Colombia, the fans, the kind of Marcelo Bielsa just going off to the media about the whole tournament, which I really enjoyed. His press conference, if you missed that, was grand. But it was a battle of two former Leeds United managers, and Jesse Marsch and Marcelo Bielsa in that third place game. And yeah, letting it go, letting it slip, whatever you want. Luis Suarez scoring late stoppage time, goes to the kicks. I mean, what are you going to do there? Bravo for Canada, but just a bad ending. You don't want to lose it. Penalty kicks. Third place game, though, which is good. So it's a bad with a lowercase b.
My bad. I don't know if you boys saw this. Was it Thursday or Friday? Anyway, if it was Thursday, you might have talked about it on Friday. Can't remember what day it was. But Matthew Owanik's free throw attempt at the at the Stingers.
Trev, you're gonna have to.
Trev,
you're gonna have to dive in on
Trev,
this.
were you there?
No, I was not there.
Okay,
but what was your whole theory? Because we did break into this on
so
Friday.
this happened Thursday night.
Yeah.
Okay, well it's been not technically my weekend because I work all weekend, but
it was Zach's grand revenge play.
Yeah, I think
That's what it was.
Okay, wait, tell me what's the deal?
All over it. Yeah, well, I don't know. Just with Zach, obviously the word's out with his 181 golf game that he has, right? And so we've been busting his balls, I guess, for the last month about that, and so. He saw his shot and he took it, and that's exactly what that was.
It's the video of Maddie.
But you saw the tweet, how he was wording. The wording of the tweet set Maddie up.
Well, I saw the wording.
He did him dirty.
The air ball is frustrating enough.
I like how he called him a 3-point shot too.
That's what it was.
But
That's what it was.
It was a.
So many people are just.
Like, Maddie, it's not a 3-point shot. Thinking Maddie was the one that Zach set him up.
Oh,
he set him up big time.
Set him
Yeah.
up.
And then it was the air ball too on top of it all. But
I mean, we need redemption. If anybody has access to a gym, let us know, because I want to get the whole crew out there and we'll go through and shoot some free throws.
I'd love that.
I want to get a real good gauge on how you guys shoot a free
6
throw.
to 6.
Yeah, I actually would love to.
Because it can't
Go
be.
hoop
I
with
saw
the boys.
somebody trying to defend Maddie because of the shoulder. He's still trying.
his wing.
Still trying to get
He's
back
fresh
from
off
the
of
shoulder.
surgery.
Flip flops as well.
Yeah, it was in the flip flops. But I don't care. You can't come up 2 feet short on a free throw. God.
not a 3-pointer. Thank you for
That's
it's a free throw.
that's a tough one. That's my bad from the weekend. And what's your ugly from the weekend?
Well, it's the Elks.
Yeah.
It's an ugly way to lose again.
I mean, 0-5 is 0-5.
Snatching defeat from the hands of victory.
We'll get to the way they lost a little bit more on That Hurts in hour number 3 today. You know what my ugly is that I didn't have a chance to get out to that Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, but I had a bunch of people tweeting at us about the 6 o'clocker lager being there. So hopefully you had a chance to get out. Shane Gillis was in town on Friday. Kevin Hart Saturday.
Yep.
Kreischer last night with Whitney Cummings. Hopefully you had a chance to get out and enjoy the 6 o'clocker lager at the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. It's great to team up with them and our smashing partners over at Alley Cat. Marshall's become a bit of a beer boy. Now, not drinking beer. He's 9.
He sells it on a
No,
corner
but he's
stand.
now when we have company over, he's asking me, he's like, would you like a beer? Because he can open it now. He likes to pour it into the mug. So
Does he wear a little towel over his shoulder?
He should.
I'd really love that.
He should. He's got that Woody from Cheers vibe going.
I'd tell him about my day.
So yeah, because when family was over, he'd come out, he'd open up the side screen door to the deck. He goes, would anybody like a beer? And we were almost ordering beers so he had something to do.
A little loony in his pocket.
And then I
right?
guess Tammy had one of her friends over on Saturday, and same thing. I don't even think her and her friend Melinda drank a lot of beer, but
now he's pushing
He's
it.
like, oh, would you like a beer? Would you like a 6 o'clocker lager or an apricot?
We have a 2-for-1 today going on.
Oh, he's just killing it. I'm very proud of my boy. Very proud of my boy. Belineski in the nasty chat and says, my brother-in-law was there and he had his first 6 o'clocker lager. He liked it a lot. Well, how can you not, right? How can you not? It's a delicious beer.
And we've been saying in the sun. We've been waiting for the
on
summer.
weekends.
The summer to hit more.
We are in the full-blown 6 o'clocker wheelhouse right now. Freddie Papernick says, Dusty, let's run it back to the corporate challenge 3-on-3. Yeah, me, Freddie, and Michelle Kirkwood back in the day. Corporate challenge. That was a lot of fun. And then remember when we played 3-on-3 versus Paul Brown
I rolled my
and
ankle.
Yukon and
rolled my
Raimai?
ankle. Rolled my ankle. And I was sick. It was my flu game, and I rolled my ankle. But we did beat
we
them.
rolled them.
Yeah.
We rolled them. No pun intended on your ankle injuries. It was me, Fraze, and Lieutenant Eric. Lieutenant Eric rolled his ankle. Fraze is just generally not athletic.
And he smoked a cigar at Ryan's afterwards.
Of course he did.
Took a couple puffs and left the rest.
Really?
Yeah.
So let's be honest. Raimai, Paul Brown, and Yukon Jack are not very good.
No. And Nuke's the big basketball guy.
Yeah. Their family plays basketball. Well, certainly they didn't get it from their daddy. They got it from their mommy because she's a phenomenal
very
ball
tall
player.
too,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's tall too. There you go. That's your good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. All right, coming up next for all. I know somebody was just like, Zach Hyman's golf tournaments today. I'm hoping for interview clips. I love you guys. Like, I love Oiler fan waking up today, not going to the tournament, but being like, Zach Hyman golf
I
tournament
think he's
today.
on with Cause this morning on 1050.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I just don't see it. Like, if you're waiting for, like, Draisaitl to comment on his contract.
Oh, no. We had Friday. Friday we had that.
Was it?
It kind of, is any updates? And we talked about the engagement, right? With
Yeah. You got engaged.
He had the cap, Mallorca.
Oh, everything's
but people are worried.
Just relax. My God, I don't want to go on some sort of chill in the offseason rant.
Well,
Jeff Jackson's put together a master class of an offseason. You think that dude's going to let Draisaitl walk or trade him away? Have faith.
You know, they say
I'm not
he's
even wasting my time.
He's cooking. He's got the roast in the oven.
Yeah,
you got to let that thing go for a good afternoon at least. Eh?
Jeff Jackson this
The
offseason
slow cooker's bacon.
is prime Zeke Elliott. And he's wearing like the crop top jersey tucked in, and he's coming up. He's going, nom. That's what he's doing right now. All right, we got a sports update coming up for our partners over at Green Plan. Then Mix and Match Mondays for Pro-Am Sports. I've got another set of line combinations that aren't as sexy as the last, but I still think they can win a Stanley Cup with this group. We'll get to that coming up on the other side here on a Monday. If you're watching over on YouTube today, let's hammer the thumbs up. I know the Elks are 0-5, and you might be sad today, but 78 likes? What are we even doing here? Hammer the thumbs up for us over on YouTube today. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. And lots of good text messages. We will come back around to the quarterback conversation on a team that doesn't technically have a quarterback issue. To add on everything that's going on here, that's a topic. So we'll get into that, but let's get to a sports update right now with LTE.
Lewis Ward with the walk-off field goal. Elks dropped to 0-5 with a 37-34 loss to the Red Blacks down to Commonwealth. Drew Bound passing for 480 yards, while three Red Blacks receivers went over 100 on the day. Elks will visit Ottawa Friday to kick off Week 7. Argentina, 1-0 victors over Colombia, capturing the Copa America. Canada falling in penalties in the third-place game Saturday to Uruguay. Stingers fall on the road, 105-104 to the Niagara River Lions, dropping the Stingers' record to 11-7 on the campaign. Stingers will visit Saskatchewan on Thursday, wrapping up a 3-game road trip. Riverhawks doubled up in Victoria 6-3 as the Harbor Cats take 2 of 3 from the Hawks over the weekend. Hawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield. The West Coast League's All-Star Game will go Wednesday down in Bellingham. Prospects, meanwhile, they drop one out in Sherwood Park, 7-4 to the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Blue Jays victorious down in Arizona. They avoid the sweep, 8-7 over the Diamondbacks. MLB's Home Run Derby goes tonight from Arlington, followed by tomorrow's All-Star Game. Jays are back home to host the Tigers on Friday. Sports Update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting service. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
Yeah. Now listen to this. 18,000 watching every night. No more staph infection, so you can take flight. It's okay that you don't shoot right. Your future's still very bright. Your future's very bright. A 7-year deal is what you sign. Well, with an AAV that we don't mind. So now with Lawson by your side, yeah, we know you're gonna be just fine. You know who you are, Clef Bomb, Clef Bomb. Oscar Kraft Bomb. Every time you score a goal, we're gonna play the song. Kraft Bomb, Oscar Kraft Bomb. And Oscar, you can do no wrong. Oscar, you can do no wrong. Kraft Bomb, Oscar Kraft Bomb. Every time you score a goal, we're gonna play the song. Kraft Bomb, Oscar Kraft Bomb. And Oscar, you can do no wrong. You can do no wrong. And Oscar, you can do no wrong.
Oh, Oscar Clefbaum goal song for you here on a Monday morning. It is the Nielsen Show. Dustin Nielson, Lieutenant Eric, YouTube Trev with you here. The Nielsen Show brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. A short drive to Fort Sask is worth it. Find the best deal at the best price. They've been doing it since 1983. Go see Daniel and his team at South Fort Chev. Tell them we sent you. They'll take great care of you and also give you 15% off accessories on the new ride. No big deal. Hey, did I hear you say River Lions?
Niagara.
What the hell is a river lion?
I think we've went over this in the past, and don't they have
we're talking a long time ago. I did not
they
recall
have,
this.
I think they have something. Don't they have something on the bridge there with some sort of lion head coming out? I don't.
Yeah, but okay, so
because what's the sea bear is what would it be, a polar bear? Hey, like type of thing.
Probably.
Winnipeg, the Winnipeg sea bears.
But are we just picking animals and putting them in random places now?
The CEBL logos and names
expansion
could come from a particular web, you know what I'm saying? Like it seems like the creative team on
this is like they went on ChatGPT and was like, come up with something hilarious. They're like, river lions. Come on, is it is it just a lion who lives in a river? I mean, why? I mean, maybe that's something somewhere else in the world.
What did we?
But have you ever been at a river near Niagara and been like, damn, look at the lions in here. This is nuts.
I think we cracked this case. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. You keep doing the sports.
Well, I see. I Googled what is a river lion, and it says river lion in Pangorio, which I'm not sure is a real place. Anyway, it says river lions, as their name suggests, live mostly in rivers. Wow, weird.
Well,
glad I went to Google to find that out.
Not to be confused with the ocean lion.
Some wet prides live in lakes that are connected to rivers or even in large swamps. But still, it says nothing to do with Niagara.
No, it hasn't. No, I think they're maybe looking at that sea lion type of thing. How about this? Their mascot's named Duncan, the river lion, but it's spelled Dunkin.
That makes sense, like donuts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So the Niagara River Lions website says a river lion is a mythical creature that is featured on Niagara's region's coat of arms.
Ah, that's what it is. I thought it was bridge, coat of arms. There it is.
Okay, but why are you putting it on your coat of arms?
Like you've seen a coat of arms. There's wacky stuff on those coat of arms, man.
Guess what? The lion on the coat of arms has been done before. I don't know. It just seems weird to me about river lions.
Should have been called eagles. CBL, man. It's a funny little league.
Give them credit for the league
better than the
names,
Surge, though. I'd take River Lions over Surge. Give me a break with that. I don't even know what that is. Some sort of red crow.
Not to make this a Calgary thing, but that is a horrible name.
It's the worst. It's the worst name and logo in the CEBL, hands down.
It's almost as hilarious as me seeing people from Calgary commenting on how they should offer sheet Broberg just to get at them, just to get at the Oilers.
Well, how does that affect your mix and match Monday here?
Calgary, you got to come up with something better to talk about, man. All right, if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. Sub to the channel, pushing our way up towards 9,500 subs. And, of course, you can text us at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let's get to this one from Herb's Hose. Good morning, fellas. How about a big shout-out to the men's U18 Indigenous Team Alberta, who captured the National Indigenous Football Championship at Commonwealth July 1st. Then came to the men's U18s Team Alberta, who finished third in their championship this weekend, albeit they didn't lose a game. Sounds funny, but yes, we have to look at the last 5 minutes of that game, and you'll understand. Happy Monday to you nasties out there. Congratulations. Congratulations on the success over there as well. All right, who wants some line combinations? You filthy dogs, right? You guys,
me.
Feed. I know. Trev, you genuinely really want these, don't you?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Oh, man, you are hilarious. All right, so this is good. Mix and Match Mondays brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Pro-Am Sports is offering this is good. Pro-Am Sports is offering a special discount on standard framing packages exclusively for EST listeners and viewers. Make sure you visit them in-store only by Saturday, July 27th, and take advantage of the 15% savings. You can find them located on the corner of 128th Ave and St. Albert Trail in Edmonton, or visit their website at proamsports.ca. So maybe you got some photos you kind of been hanging on to, waiting for a time just like this. And that's what you've got right here. Special discount, standard framing packages exclusively for EST listeners and viewers. Go visit them in store only in store by Saturday, July 27th, 15% savings. I've got our newspaper articles that they wrote about us when we launched that I've been waiting to get framed.
Yeah.
Maybe now is the time. Take those into the Cookson boys.
Be a nice summer project there.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Get those up on the walls here. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. All right, so here we go.
McDavid between.
Man, you always know how I'm going to start these.
I had an inkling.
Have you seen? Did you peek at this? Did you peek at this? Well, maybe for funsies, I'll let you try to guess. Now, first set of lines had Matt Savoy on. The Sailor ended up simulating an Oilers season with that set of lines, and they won the Stanley Cup on 1-for-1.
And the Ducks made it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm still floored by that alone.
NHL 24 is a joke unless it's simulating the Oilers to win the Cup.
Exactly.
Over the Toronto Maple Leafs in 5 games. Classic. All right, so here we go. This one has Evander Kane not being available in one way or the other, whether he's traded or is on the LTIR, and Savoy doesn't make the big club.
Okay.
Okay, starts in Baco. Connor McDavid between. Would you like to take a guess?
Your original mix and match, and I think it's important we track these.
Now, some of these lines could be the same. Some of them
yeah,
will be
right.
different.
Oh, for sure. They don't all have to be mixed and match, right? But you had before in the
I
earlier
think I had
one,
McDavid between Hyman and Skinner.
Skinner, yeah.
All right, so
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
McDavid between R and H and Hyman?
No! This is why it's such a fun contest. Nobody saw that coming.
I thought it wasn't. You said
Nobody saw that coming.
McDavid between
Hyman. At some point, I'll have to do the Hyman not with McDavid line combos. McDavid between Hyman and Skinner.
Oh my God, yeah, again.
Running it back. Right? If you win the Stanley Cup with it, you might as well keep the top line together.
Sure.
All right.
You're basing your new mix and matches off the simulation.
I love the results
yeah,
from the
let's
last
keep
one.
going. Yeah.
All right. Whew. All right. Write these down, Sailor. We're going to need the simulation. McDavid between Hyman and Skinner. Draisaitl with Arvidsson still on his right.
Okay.
The Nuge on his left. Trev, what do you think?
Oh, nice.
You like that?
I
right?
like that. That's good.
Good. I like that too. How about this top 6? Right? Because on the last set, I had
stacked.
Nuge as the third line center.
Yeah. A nice spine there.
Skinner, McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, Nuge, and Arvidsson. Who's slightly aroused right now? Trev?
That's me.
Exactly.
That would be me.
All right, so now it gets interesting.
Let's get to that bottom.
Right? Now, do you keep Henrique and Brown and Janmark together in another set of lines for the Edmonton Oilers? The answer, my friends, is no, you do not. Adam Henrique with a veteran presence in Connor Brown on the right side and Dylan Holloway on the left side. When Brown's flying and Holloway, we know he's got speed. That's some pretty good speed on the wings for Adam Henrique, who's kind of patrolling the middle.
Yep.
I like that line a lot. And I know some of you will say, how dare you not have Matthias Janmark on the line with Henrique and Brown? But this is July 15th, and we're trying some new things here.
You're mixing. You're matching. I don't mind that. That's a nice speed, good flanks. I got a little time for that combo.
Henrique between Brown and Holloway. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I love all the lines I've put together.
You're not putting your thumbs in your suspenders for line 4 here, are you?
I'm not. I prefer the first set of lines that I rolled out last week that had Nuge in the middle and Savoy on the wing and Evander Kane was healthy and playing. But that's not what this setup is. That's not the scenario that we're facing today. This one is Savoy starts in Baco and Evander Kane is on the LTIR and or has been traded. Derek Ryan with Corey Perry and Matthias Janmark will be your fourth line. Don't necessarily love it. Janmark will have to be the driver on it, obviously. Can they provide much offensively? I'm not sure. Do they hurt you defensively? Maybe Perry at times. But I think this is a good comparable to the one I had last time, where if Evander Kane is somehow in your lineup, a lot better hockey team because it bumps another body down the lineup for you.
Penner's Pancake says splitting 13 and 28 just sent this chat into a frenzy.
I know.
You are just You took the grenade, you went ding with the pin, and you tossed it in.
Somebody in this market has to have the balls to do something crazy. And that's what just happened.
I would take your top 6 over the bottom 6, though, I think.
Fair point. I can't argue that.
Yeah. I know we talk depth, and depth is here, but yeah. I don't mind that third. I have the time for that third combo. That's what stuck out to me today. That's neat.
I think that's a
Why
third
not?
line.
That's an idea.
Trev, what's your favorite thing about today's lineup? Which, once again, if you're just joining us, is McDavid between Hyman and Skinner, Draisaitl between Arvidsson and Nuge, Henrique between Brown and Holloway, and then Ryan between Perry and Janmark, right here on a Mix and Match Mondays for Pro-Am Sports.
I love the top 6 like that. I really just want to see what Skinner can do on McDavid. Like, he's probably going to be, but you don't know, right? He can fit in well with Leon as well. I'm sure we're going to see that in the mix and match down the road here. But Connor McDavid made a point per game player out of Zach Hyman. He made him a 50-goal scorer, and we kind of talked about this last week. But Jeff Skinner, he was an 82-point player
2 years ago.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
right? So what can McDavid do to Jeff Skinner? And that's just really exciting to me. And then just on that second line as well, if you remember the Yamamoto, Nuge, and Draisaitl line, there was that one stint where I've never
They never got that back.
and large part due to COVID, right? And
Yeah.
then when they came back, they just were like, hey, well, we should split this line up, which was kind of annoying. But that line was just so fun to watch, and they were just automatic. And here's hoping, if Victor Arvidsson could provide that, he's so much more of a player than what Yamamoto is, right? So there is that potential. So to have
That's a good point, actually.
So to have Arvidsson, if they can run it back, Nuge and Leon, they have shown chemistry before, and then you got a 30-goal scorer in Victor Arvidsson, who, playing with Leon Draisaitl, he's never played with anyone, not even as close to as skilled as Leon. So I'm expecting career years for both those two, but yeah, that's just that top 6. Oh, that's just unbelievable.
Come a long way
I
since
love
Ratty,
it.
hey?
Oh gosh,
I know.
McDavid can do
Remember when people were like,
Jujar Kara on the first line.
I was just gonna say.
Oh,
I was just gonna
gosh.
say. Remember, people were like, "Man, could they play Jujar Kara in the top 6?"
Oh,
imagine
gosh.
where this team is now.
Because you did think that McDavid could change literally
Yeah.
anybody, but it does take a bit of... You got to have a bit of talent to ride up there.
Joel texts in and says, "What's the D pairings?" I'll never give D pairings
PK2.
unless we get to Wednesday, and it's a Wednesday mix and match. It's only D.
I don't...
And what about that? What about that Wednesdays? And it's just the blue line. Bones is in and says, "Guys, I like the top 9, but that fourth line drags down the rating to a 7 out of 10. Yes, one more time. The line combinations will be McDavid between Hyman and Skinner, Draisaitl between Arvidsson and Nuge, Henrique between Brown and Holloway, and then Ryan with Perry and Matthias Janmark. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you love or not love that?"
Krager has a question for that name. As you said, prior to these lines, you would have him outside, whether it's LTI or whatever. But once he returns, Krager asks, where does Kane slide into the roster? Or if Kane is gone, who plays his role? Pretty unique player. Again, you didn't have him on yours today for the mix and match.
Not addressing that today.
Yeah.
Not addressing that today. This is the one where Kane is not available.
This is a dimension exactly where he's just not around and he's not there. So I guess who on your team would play that role? Probably a Matthias Janmark, eh?
Hey, Trev, you came in hot last week and gave me a 9 out of 10.
Yes.
What's your feeling out of 10 today?
I think I like, as much as I love the top 6 in this one, I like the depth a little bit more in the last one. And obviously, we're excluding Kane in this, so that's plays a factor in my ranking. But I'll still go with a 8.
I'll take it.
8's pretty solid.
I'll take an 8 from you too, Trev. I think as far as me putting Skinner with McDavid and Hyman, it's guaranteed 8 from YouTube, Trev.
I think so.
Good to know. Will I go back to the well again next week? Stay tuned to find out. Penner's Pancake says, ideal world, 10 and 90 are rotating in. Does Dusty pull off a deal and insert Yamamoto on the fourth line? Stay tuned. Oh, we should do one where I also make a trade, and that person is
One trade.
That'd be fun. Oh God, I can't wait for the. I can't wait for the next set of Mix and Match Mondays for Pro-Am Sports. Custom framing deal right now for all you AM nasties. 15% off. Go visit the boys. It's in store. In store only at Pro-Am Sports, 128th Ave, St. Albert Trail, right on the corner there. 15% off. Standard framing packages exclusively for EST listeners and viewers. Speaking of EST listeners and viewers, I met a huge fan in the press box last night. Bob Stoffer.
Oh,
Yeah, big Stoff. He popped
from the Hangout.
Yeah.
yeah.
He made I don't know what else he does, but he made a couple of appearances on the Hangout in the
You
past.
know him from, yeah.
Yeah, and used to see him around Claire Drake quite a bit. Anyway, he popped his head into the booth like a fan. He was just
Like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Hello.
I was sitting there doing some pregame prep, and I turned around and there's Stoff. Wearing a nice suit and everything. So I had a fun little chat with Bob last night.
Would you sign for him?
Well,
He didn't have any memorabilia.
he didn't have anything with
right
him
on the arm.
but I know I carry obviously photos.
Yes.
So I autographed one for Stoff. I tucked it in his pocket up here, tapped him on the head, and said, "Be on your way." But that's the first time I've seen Stoff at an Elks game since I've been calling games for CFL and TSN. So everybody like now Oilers fans can be like, "Wait a second,
Well,
Stoff was at a game. It must be cool."
I saw him at a Golden
Now
Bears.
I'm going to go to a game. You know,
Golden Bears football last year, but I was too intimidated to say
course.
anything. Maddie and I saw him from before. We said that's. And then I stood leaning tower Pisa. I was in the photo, but he was far away, and I was like, "Yeah,
yeah.
Bob,"
He met the kids too. He met the family.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Elizabeth gave him a pretty good stare down. He's like, "What's your name?" She's like, "Elizabeth." It's like, oh man, she's vicious. I think I saw VR Montenegro texting earlier today and say, "Elizabeth's a little intimidating." I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's that hip hop dancing, man.
She's 7 years old, and she's got the swag.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Put your kids in hip hop dance,
Yeah.
and they'll never have an issue in their
Who
entire
needs
life.
karate or judo, right?
Yeah, no. How does she defend herself?
She
hip hop
stares.
dance intimidation.
Yes.
I mean, of course.
No physicality whatsoever.
Georgia Satellite over in the Nasty Chat says the Cavis Reed Fantasy Football League of Adult Things results are in. Newsflash: the Norfolk Pirates move from first to third. That's my team. We got a
movement.
battle at the top. We got a battle at the top.
I like how tight it is there.
Still thinking about trying to go out and trade for MBT. Because I got Trey
From
Ford.
all the conversation
I've got
this
Trey
morning,
Ford.
you're talking
Like,
that. I love it.
I know. I mean, sometimes you got to have faith in a guy, I guess.
In the Dunia, though, the gap is widening from top to bottom, so there's that.
Is it?
The gap is
And
widening
who's at the bottom?
in the Dunia. I'm at the bottom.
damn it,
I
man.
am the
We gotta
Dunia's.
get you off the
I am the
schneid.
Dunia's bottom.
You
If you know about the league,
Amish Man 19 over on the Nasty Chat. Hey, if you like line combinations on July 15th, hammer the thumbs up for us.
we'll play along too if you want. I mean, come at
Yeah,
this combo today.
go ahead.
Look, I see your combo. I'll serve you this, and you dueling.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to hate all of your combos because they're not as good as mine. You know how much time I put into this last night? 7 minutes. I put 7 minutes into this last night. And you're going to sit here today and tell me you're going to send in a better
Carve
line
me up,
combination?
yeah.
You're nuts. You're nuts.
Grant's asking about a Hull for Kane trade.
Classic. It's not an off season if we don't get a Taylor Hall trade idea. So that's a big one. Brendan says that lineup is good enough to beat the Leafs in January, LOL. And Amish Man says today's might end up being the most realistic opening day option. I mean, it's true. I mean, if Kane is put on the LTIR, this is probably very close to what they roll out. Unless they go Nuge with McDavid and Hyman and then Skinner with Draisaitl and Arvidsson. But then that's two guys you're not familiar with, where technically you could have like just one guy that Draisaitl's not familiar with and one guy that McDavid's not familiar with and split them. And did I just nail opening day lineup?
I think, well, on your second
Week
Mix and
2.
Match Monday, yeah.
Week 2. Now
that?
where do we go? I can't wait to drop McDavid and Draisaitl together.
Well, we go
The
to
nuclear option.
Again, you didn't want to go there, but I think the blue line and special teams is the next play here.
Wheels is in. It says, Dusty, your lineup gets a 5.6 today. My God, Wheels, you also texted me last night and said it was a horror to meet my family last night. Take your 5.6 and shove it. Zulu says, if only CFL fantasy was easier for fans. Just leave it with me. I'm working. I'm working on it. I saw the commish again yesterday. He was there.
Maddie? Oh.
No, not that commish. The commish, Randy
The
Ambrosi.
commish, yes.
He was there, so I chatted with him briefly, but I still haven't been able to have that fantasy meeting with him. But I just got to sit down with him and say, Randy, listen.
They have to.
Here's what you need to do. I know they've got the week-to-week stuff.
Which is fine.
Which is great.
You can keep that as an option.
But if you want to get people fully invested in fantasy, you got to put together season-long leagues. It cannot be hard to do. They've got these partners at Genius Sports that track everything. It cannot be difficult to do. You set it up. You go to CFL.ca. You click on fantasy. Then you click on set up 4-man league or 6-man league. Those would be your options. Then you go in and you make sure there's the Canadian ratio, just like our leagues. And then they just take the stats automatically out of all the weekly stats, and you play fantasy like you play fantasy anywhere else. It cannot be difficult to do. But then I love week to week. I love the DFS stuff. But you can't make trades in those leagues. No. There's no waiver wire week to week in those leagues.
There's no passion. You're not riding with something constantly kind of.
They have to do this. They have to do it.
And I think these two leagues that we are in is living proof. I mean, you want the spreadsheets.
CFL fantasy for me is just as fun as NFL fantasy.
Yeah.
In fact, it's more fun because you have the Canadian ratio and
there's a lot more.
Yeah, it's different. It's unique. I love them both.
They're two different fantasies.
I love them both, but that's what needs to happen. I need to stop talking about it, and I need to sit down with Ambrosi and be like, listen, let's just get this out.
It's not even throwing him an idea that you would at a bar on a late night. Oh, they got this crazy.
No, this is a great
We've been
business
doing
idea.
it. We've been doing it. It's been done. It's been proven. Like we are doing the soft mock trials, if you will. All you got to do is get the spreadsheets and implement it on the site, and away you go.
Belineski's in and says the problem with CFL is the player pool is too small. You couldn't have a keeper league or drafts. We've been doing
it for
drafts.
years, man. That's the best, and it's not easy. It's hard.
Oh,
That's
it's
the
fun.
fun point of it. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have 30-some. You don't have this. I mean,
we're in a 6-man league. Our waiver wire this week will have Ontario Wilson on it and Khalil Pimpleton from last night. Those two guys are on waivers this week.
But she is getting thin now. I mean, players get hurt. I mean, it is tough to build a winner in the CFL fantasy, but fun.
You can do it.
Fun.
You can do CFL fantasy. There's enough players to do. You guys do the 4-man.
Yep.
We do the 6-man with a bit of a super flex. I think it's only been activated once this year.
It's all good.
So
it's all good.
You
Whatever
can do
your
it.
flavor is.
You can do both styles of leagues.
I think that's the more frustrating thing is we're showcasing it. It can be done. And it's not being done. It's not just an idea that we have a pie in the sky idea.
No,
it's it can be done.
If our commission, your commission can do it with spreadsheets, the CFL can do it with the integrated stats that they have. It's that simple. They just have to do it. All right, let's get into your Cool Bet hotline of the day. Cool Bet Canada.
Home run derby.
Betting. Well, that's exactly where
Huss
we're going.
is going to be all over it, eh?
Oh, we're going to spend a lot of time on the home run derby. Now, Huss is rolling because he picked Bobby McIntyre, who won the Scottish Open at 40-1.
Oh.
So the lock shop delivers another winner. And then I think Huss put together a partner parlay on Friday that nailed it. It was Spain, and then the other one as a draw. And they got both of them at
nice.
plus 725.
Okay, yeah.
So Huss is red hot right now, which you have to love. Home run derby. If you go to coolbet.com, and if you're not yet signed up for an account, coolbet.com, use the code LOCKSHOP when you do, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. All right, so here are the odds right now for the home run derby. Alonzo, plus 320. He's 1-2. Can he make it 3? Who else has won 3? Ken Griffey Jr. won 3. Somebody else won 3, I think. Anyway, he'd be joining Rarefied Air. Ozuna's at plus 400. Bobby Witt Jr.'s plus 450. Gunnar Henderson plus 475. Garcia's 5-1. Teoscar Hernandez. Teoscar home run song coming up. Teoscar home run song coming up. Teoscar Hernandez 10-1. Jose Ramirez 16-1. And Alec Boehm 18-1. But Alonzo is plus 320. Do we ride with Alonzo here?
The polar bear. Yeah.
3-time champion?
Sure. Go with the champ.
Pete Alonso to win the Derby, plus 320. That is your cool bet hotline of the day. You can also get in on, they've got the odds on longest home run, player with the highest exit velocity home run. That's diving into it for the nerds out there. And most home runs in round one. You can pick the exact finalists. You can get the total. The total for home runs by the winner is set at 59.5. My God, the boys got a lot set up over here. You should go look at all the different markets you've got for home run derby here. This is great.
Globe Life Field, Arlington, Texas, if that means anything to you in terms of the home runs.
Total home runs in round one of Derby, 158.5. Total home runs in the home run derby across all rounds, 269.5. And this is a good one. Will there be a swing off in any matchup? Yes, plus 275.
Yeah, give me the
Shall
yes.
we
Give me the
sprinkle?
yes. Yeah, that's good.
Shall we sprinkle? You know there's going to be a swing off. It's the Derby. Plus 275, the swing off. Home run derby action. That'll be your cool bet hotline of the day. Huss and I will dive a little bit more into this on the lock shop today. Obviously, a lot to recap from golf over the weekend, a lot to recap in the Canadian Football League over the weekend, and what a schedule in the CFL this upcoming weekend. I'll be on Friday in Regina for the Bombers and Riders, and just a huge game in the West. That should be a lot of fun as well. Argos and Ticats are going at it. Rematch of this Edmonton game. First half of a double dip on Friday. And then BC and Calgary on Sunday. So nice weekend over there as well. If you are watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. That would be great. Sub to the channel. Of course, you can text us anytime at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. And yes, more on the Edmonton Elks losing on a walk-off field goal for the third game in a row. You can't script this stuff. It's ridiculous. Sports update right now with Lieutenant Eric for the great staff over at Park Mazda.
Lewis Ward walking him off. Elks dropped to 0-5 with a 37-34 loss to the Red Blacks down to Commonwealth. Drew Brown passing for 480 yards, while three Red Black receivers went over 100 on the day. Elks will visit Ottawa to kick off Week 7 on Friday. Lautaro Martinez scored the lone goal in the 112th minute of extra time. Argentina take Copa America 1-0 over Colombia. On the hard court, the Stingers fall on the road, 105-104 to the Niagara River Lions. Stingers now dropping to 11-7 on the campaign. They'll visit Saskatchewan on Thursday to round out a 3-game road trip. Riverhawks double up in Victoria 6-3 as the Harbor Cats take 2 of 3 over the weekend. Hawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield. The West Coast League's All-Star game goes Wednesday from Joe Martin Field out in Bellingham. Prospects, they lose 7-4 to the Sylvan Lake Gulls out in Sherwood Park. Jays victorious down in Arizona. They avoid the sweep 8-7 over the Diamondbacks. Home run derby tonight from Arlington. Tomorrow's All-Star game as well. Jays are back home to host the Tigers on Friday. Sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he once lost a game by 4 consecutive walk-off field goals.
If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a figure skater. He wears like a white outfit and he does interpretive ice dances to my life's journey.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Major leagues. There's a high fly ball to right, and this ball's gonna go another home run. A grand slam for Teoscar.
Teoscar. That's it. That's the whole Teoscar Hernandez home run song. There it is for you. Home run songs, all of our songs brought to you by our great partners over at Sportball. Visit www.sportball.ca for more info on all the sports programs they offer. Obviously, time to start planning for fall registration. Check them out, sportball.ca. I registered my kids in hockey last night. Yeah.
Ahead of the game.
Well, it was a deadline. You saved like $100 if you registered before July 15th. So decide to get in. It's still too expensive, but whatever. They'll have a good time. Marshall's in football. So they start camps today. Marshall's in a basketball camp this week.
Okay.
And then Lizzie's in a soccer camp this week. Day one of camp. It's camp time. That's just the mornings. So it's not too bad. It's like 3 hours.
Walking up to the facility, the beats on, you know, that whole thing. He's got his little bag under his arm.
I told Tam, I said, make sure you get the picture of the fit.
Yeah, you need the good fit.
You
good
want the fit.
Day
You
one.
want to see the fit.
Yeah.
And then I think next week, pretty sure it's next week. Yeah, it's next week. He's in a flag football camp.
I'm looking forward to this one.
That the sport ball folks are involved in.
I know Daddy in basketball is saying, I might go down and check out a few of those practices, to be honest. Lean over
he
the
was
fence.
running routes yesterday.
Oh, man.
Down on the field, the Elks came after the game. It's just, this kid was at the 20, and he's like, "Hey, Daddy, I'm going to run up. I'm going to cross." So we were playing with that little, like a little Elks soft sort of football, little one. And I'll say this. I mean, that's not an easy ball to catch when it's coming in there from about 20 yards out.
Yeah.
But he caught 4 of the 5 that came his direction.
I want you on the sled, though, and him working the sled. Like,
oh, yeah, and I'm
just
up
yelling
on
at him. Yeah,
and just
yelling.
Harder. You think you're going to go to flag football camp in this type of shape? You're ridiculous.
Full sled for Marshall.
Yeah.
Bam, bam.
Anyway, it should be a lot of fun. So they'll do a couple of camps in the summer. It's nice to get them involved. Just morning camps, a couple hours, 3, 4 hours.
Out of the house.
Just change up the routine a little bit. So it should be a lot of fun.
These check-ins in the Paris Jewelers inbox, you seen some of this?
Yeah, what was the one?
Okay, well, and back to back here. You can add Saigon, Vietnam to your list. Listening live there now. Fraser, this comes in from a guy named Fraser, guy or gal, first time ever texting in, so thank you for that. Follows that up with Stan the Jets fan. Checking in from Guimba, Philippines. Guimba.
Oh,
a pin
Guimba.
for your world map, 4 hours north of Manila. Stan the Jets fan, Edmonton Sports Talk member number 96. Rebecca in Calgary, checking in from Waterfront Cottage on Manitoulin Island, Lake Huron. So Manitoulin Island, Guimba, Philippines, and Saigon, Vietnam.
There's an island in Lake Huron? Unbelievable. That's wild.
They call them the Great Lakes.
So Manitoulin Island, Saigon,
Yes, Saigon,
and Guimba, Philippines.
yeah.
Do you think any of those locations have river lines? Probably not.
I think that's why they're chiming in.
Probably not.
You put up the signal.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Jared over in the Nasty Chat says, day one of camp, VO2 max. Yes. Sobkirk says, I know Sean White has been gone for a while, but wow, he's a kicking machine. I hope he went first 2 rounds of CFL Fantasy League drafts.
The Memphis Mad Dogs make a point of getting him. I think he's been on our club for 3 of the past 4 seasons.
He had
He's
30
been
points this week?
A constant. He led my roster in score. Dedrick Mills, another great game as well. Over 100. I mean, my roster was great aside from the Fajardo injury, which...
I can't believe you dropped Kolaris, though.
Because he was done. He was done.
Awanek didn't pick him up, did he?
No. I really don't care who did. He's still like whatever, but it's just... He wouldn't be starting anyways. It's just... But yes, you mentioned the kickers. The kickers across the board are having a great season, aside from what you said yesterday from Beatty.
The Nielsen Show is brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Check them out at southfortchev.com. Let's get into that's good. For Italian Center Shop, they've got Massimo's Italian sausage, house brand, gluten-free, locally made with that good old-fashioned Alberta pork, using a traditional recipe available in both hot and mild. Add some Italian flair to your next barbecue with the Italian sausages from Italian Center Shop.
Tommy's just been eating them cold.
Yeah.
He'll just drive it.
Cazzola's just
drive it
rolling
down,
in, hitting the fridge, and just crushing these
driving
sausages.
it in. Yeah.
What a pig.
And then he'll say, I'm Italian, he says.
Of course,
So, you can eat it cold. He doesn't.
Well, I'm Italian. Listen to this guy. Okay, so here's what's good. I see some of you who are like, the Elks suck. I can't wait for NFL season. But why not watch the rest of the CFL?
Yeah.
Like, here's what's good this weekend. The Canadian Football League had 2 receivers this weekend finished with more than 200 yards in a game. Justin McInnis.
Oh, he couldn't be stopped.
He had 14 targets. He caught all 14.
I think he caught another one. Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah,
and then Ontario Wilson gets an opportunity with Lawler out and Schoen out, and they hadn't really done much yet offensively this year, the Bombers. And Zach Collaros activates him, and this dude looks like he's something special as well.
But going back to the Lions, you had Hollins and McInnis jostling for top spot in the league during the game, back and forth in terms of yardage, which was fun to see.
Vernon Adams is just slightly off the pace of Doug Flutie's all-time passing record in the CFL. Doug Flutie. And if VA stays healthy, he's going to take a legitimate run at him because Hollins is a freak, McInnis is a freak, and he's about to get his best receiver back in Keon Hatcher.
That's going to open things up. And then you have a William Stanback in your backfield, which is always a threat now, to which they didn't have before, right? If he can stay healthy, you're catching that record.
Phenomenal games.
You saw what he did against the Riders' defense, which I think you would agree probably best in the league right now in terms of, they're taking the ball, they're snatching
Undoubtedly.
the ball. He did throw 2 picks, but 451 through the air.
Vernon Adams, 451 yards, just the 1 touchdown pass, but Justin McInnis, to catch all 14 targets is insane. 243 yards for Justin McInnis. Might not even be the best receiver on their team. Hollins is a stud as well. And then in Winnipeg, missing their top 2 receivers pretty much for the rest of the season. And Ontario Wilson steps up, gets targeted 16 times, catches 13 of them for 201 yards and a highlight reel touchdown as well. Like, if you are not paying attention this year, you are missing out on some insanely entertaining CFL football 6 weeks in. And outside of, and we'll see what happens when Trevor Harris returns for the Riders, BC Lions look unreal.
Yeah.
Montreal Alouettes now with Cody Fajardo hurt. We'll see what happens there. Huge game coming up for Toronto this week as they try to sort of maintain pace. But the Bombers winning 2 in a row. Calgary's right there with a couple. Like, it's tightening up a little bit in the West. It should be a lot of fun.
It's tightening up in the West, and it's tight in the East as well. And you look at Hamilton and Edmonton now, both rooted at the bottom of their divisions, both 0-5. I mean, the door is still open for both, specifically Edmonton, which I would say now just 4 points back of both Calgary and Winnipeg. But no, it's great. But it goes to show that you can have a great team and a great defense. Ultimately, football, and yes, it is 3 phases and aspects. If a quarterback goes down, especially in the CFL, that can throw a stick in the spoke pretty damn quickly. I do wonder about the Alouettes. Noel Thorpe, the defense is still good. Caleb Evans, he's been rushing him in. He can rush him in short yardage. I don't know about controlling an offense, running an offense, Jason Moss style, but we'll wait and see there. Calgary, Winnipeg, though, I mean, those two. Now with Saskatchewan, Shea Patterson will keep them in games. I don't know so much about outright going out and winning.
Will he cost you them?
How much will they chase the Riders with that defense? Yeah, I think you can look at both divisions right now and say both races are pretty entertaining for a variety of reasons. It's not so much as one's kicking the snot out of everybody in the East and nobody has a chance, and you're saying who's going to cross over. That type of talk. It's tight now. Love it.
That's good. 2 receivers, over 200 yards receiving in the CFL this week. I thought Pimpleton might get there as well. Like, with the way that he was going, he had 3 catches for 123 yards. It's been a highly entertaining season so far. I get it. I'm one of the voices of the league. I'm going to speak very highly of it.
Well, you also get a good seat for most of these.
I mean these games are ridiculous.
Yeah, you're the one that goes and watches most of them, so you're telling it to people who otherwise don't. You're just relaying what you see. But I don't think I had Drew Brown coming off a concussion protocol, tossing for close to 500 yards yesterday. I mean, you don't get that every day of the week.
He was less than 30 yards away from setting Ottawa's all-time franchise record, which is currently held by Henry Burris at 5:06 or something. Like, that's the type of game that he put together yesterday, or the type of game that the Elks defense had them put together. Casino Dealer Jay says, Dusty, your last minute call in the Elks game was entertaining enough to watch CFL. Good. However you have to do it. I will gladly wear that hat on trying to keep you entertained But the game, it's not hard to keep entertained when I did the 2 games that I did this week.
No.
They were ridiculous. 41-37, 37-34.
No offense, but we didn't even need commentating. If you would have turned it off, I mean, you're watching the footballs.
You watch what you're saying right now.
You know what I'm saying? But okay, this text from Red.
Oh my God, my own guy.
No, it's that the product is that good that you don't. It's good football. Oh please. Here. How about this, Red? Dusty, Dunnigan, and Dort, pure comedy on Friday. And I'm telling this, more of the triple D. You and Dunnigan plus Dort, that's the dream team. That's my one triple A.
We refer to ourselves as the D squad.
Yeah.
I think that might be the only game Dunnigan and I get all year. And Suits is my best friend. We know that.
Yeah, you have
But the energy that Dunnigan brings to the booth, man. I'm usually energy guy.
Yeah.
Then you try to keep up with Dunnigan's energy, and
but
it's
walk
just
us through. You don't do every game with him, so you show up. He's there an hour early. He shows up.
We rolled over together from the hotel.
He's what, humoring you on the way? Like, how is it different than with Suits? The sooner you know.
Well, Dunnigan says things that Suits would never say.
Yeah.
Like I saw it with one guy. Who's that guy on Twitter? Jacques Cartier or you know him? JOCK.
Yeah, he made fun of us on Twitter one time.
Did he?
I have the receipts.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. He goes, man, I love Nielsen and Dunnigan together. The only worry is that Matt's going to get them all canceled at some point. Like, Dunnigan is hilarious.
You got to run on that hard
Sometimes
delay.
he says some things, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I was talking about in that game, I said, the only thing we don't have here to finish that Winnipeg-Calgary game on Friday night, I said, this will be the moment that I probably have a heart attack and die in the booth. But if there's ever a walk-off game-winning kick return, I'll lose my mind. So I'm sitting there talking with Maddie about it. I said, man, if this game ends with a walk-off game-winning kick return, I'm going to lose it. And he goes, and as you're doing it, he goes, I'm going to be in the booth over there with a couple of beers, smashing them like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was just like, my God. He's nuts.
I think we bring back that whole grilling with Dunnigan segment and have you on it as well. And you guys just, I think there's a relationship there.
He just genuinely makes me laugh out loud. Live on broadcast, I'm just like, it's fun. It's fun. It's a good time.
Why one? Just one.
Well, Maddie doesn't do many.
Yeah.
And I don't think he comes out west that often. We might have one more together, but it's like, I was only scheduled to do one with Dwayne, one with Matt, maybe 2 with Matt, and then the rest, because Suits and I are in the west, we just do them all together in the west, right? So,
but you throw Dort into the mix, it's great.
Yeah, she's
that whole team.
We got a lot of talent there right now.
Oh yeah,
on the sidelines, man. Britt is to follow in Orlesky's footsteps is not easy, and Britt's done a great job with it. Chantel Chan, who's filled in for Farhan a couple times. Yeah, west, she's excellent as well.
Orlesky was in the crowd, was she not?
Orlesky was got a camera there. She was in the crowd.
I saw the camera there.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that's good. Italian Center. It's been a great year in the Canadian Football League so far. Now, not here, not in Edmonton. So we have to ask you today, like, if you were, well, it's tough to even say the owner because they're going to get a new owner, and hopefully when he comes in, he's got pretty strong ties to the community. When he comes in, hopefully he can passionately sort of fix this thing. But if you're making the call right now, what do you do? What do you do? You fire Chris Jones. I guess that would be the answer for everyone. But see, I don't even want to say you're the GM and you're trying to figure out. Okay, so you're the GM. You're trying to figure out, but they've told you, hey, we're not making a coaching change until the new ownership comes in. So let's say that. Let's say coaching change is off the table because part of me feels like it is, at least momentarily. I'd be surprised if they fire him today, but maybe Lawlisher just was like, whatever, figure it out. So what do you do? How are you supposed to get a team that doesn't necessarily have a quarterbacking issue, make a quarterback change to all of a sudden start winning games?
And you're asking this of the GM, head coach, and defensive coordinator, and Chris Jones.
Well, he's not the DC anymore.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's still, I think that's all kind of a by committee shared thing anyways. You can't do much. That's the problem right now is you need to set the table first before you start eating. And I think, okay, so you fire. Okay, so today somehow he's fired. You bring in whom? Who's taking this? Nobody outside is. You have to fill from within. Probably just kind of a lame duck position again to play out the string of the season. Maybe you get a few wins. This is a big project, a tear down project. Something, again, you go out, you look at who's available, and you say, and you do these exhaustive interviews and say who's going to. Again, you need a culture shift. This isn't we're not getting the I don't like this style or whatever. No, this goes a lot deeper. But if you're doing it mid-season, your options aren't. I mean, that's mid-season coaching in football is never going to be easy to fill or to get who you want or where you want to go. So it'd have to be just a temporary thing. You give it to Shivers, give it to whomever. But certainly, I mean, most of that heavy lifting is off-season stuff. But I would just hope that you get that ownership. You have to get that going now so that the people are in place to start thinking and planning and putting together some sort of a purpose and drive and a mission in the off-season to go out and get or to assemble a collection of guys to which you would say, okay, these are 3, 5, however many. Let's pick the best one to move forward with in a collective front. But doing it now, it just doesn't. And I get fan frustration, but it really doesn't solve anything. You're just moving stuff around at this point.
What's the solution? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Brett B says, fire Chris Jones, steal Ed Hervey from the Ticats, bring back Ricky Ray after reversing his aging back to when he was in his prime, and watch the championships roll in.
Or that.
I mean, that could also work. That could also work. Calvin C says, would Jones temporarily save his own job if he let Shivers take over head coach duties? Like, as general manager, Chris Jones fires himself and gets Shivers to have you ever? Man, wouldn't that be something?
Couldn't see it from CJ, and I mean that in compliment to him, but that'd be interesting.
That would be something. Zulu says Jones needs to go. Input an interim coach. G. Roy runs the team. New owner makes big choices in the offseason. This season, you need to try and please the fans at this point.
Yeah.
Big Maples in it says, hire Chris Morris. Chris Morris was one name I brought up. I mean, he's done a pretty good job established. But
does Chris Morris want to walk in at this time to kind of put your individual career?
No,
it's weird.
I'm thinking after ownership.
Okay, yeah.
Could the next permanent head coach of the Elks be Chris Morris? I haven't chatted with Chris in a while, but
because if you want to start to dream, I'm all for that. I love thinking ahead to now. Okay, you have ownership in place. Now let's go around the league and see guys. You mentioned Killam. You mentioned these guys that maybe need a chance. Who would you want leading a franchise and kind of being that guy moving forward? Because right now you're just making a change for change. So there's that mid-season change, but then there's that grand change that's going to come, and that's where I really want to kind of get into.
Remember when Chris Jones took over the Golden Bears? And I remember the first time. Yeah. Oh, sorry, not Chris Jones. Chris Morris. When Chris Morris took over the Golden Bears, I remember we had him on the show the first time. Remember, I contemplated leaving radio and going and playing for Chris Morris because I wanted to run through a wall for the guy. I still had eligibility.
Yeah.
I was like 31. It would have been a hell of a story.
Yeah.
But that organization was a train wreck.
Okay, let's go to the timeline.
It took him years to do it.
And you were calling games during this time.
I was calling games.
You were on the phone this morning with our good friends at 100.3 The Bear, and you mentioned some sort of I believe a bit of a...
Well, I'll take the heat.
Yeah.
Look, the Golden Bears sucked when I was their play-by-play guy. I went like 4 years without calling a win. And now I just don't exclusively do Elks games.
Sure.
But the Elks have also sucked since I became a CFL play-by-play guy. So I don't know. Maybe
there's a bit of a correlation.
Maybe there's something to it. But I mean, the bottom line is, if Chris Morris was on the other side of this wall and wanted me to do something for him, I'd run through it. I mean, I actually, what would happen is I'd bounce off it horribly and ruin my shoulder. But I try to run through it.
You would believe, yeah.
And he's taken the Golden Bears program from a joke to a legitimate university program now that is churning out Canadian football leaguers on a consistent basis. He comes with the history of the organization.
Canadian.
I mean, he would check a lot of boxes off if you could convince him to do it. But that's one name. I mean, that's one name that, I mean, if you're looking to reconnect with fans of days gone past.
But there needs to be more than that. I don't think you go with a total 100% sentimental choice. Not saying you would, and I don't think Morris is just strictly sentimental. But there is that balance of going out and getting the best guy for the job, but also, yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, are you going out and getting for example's sake, a Buck Pierce? Like, what is that with the you know what I'm saying? There needs to be a bit of sentimentality to it, but it just can't be that. There's got to be a good guy out there with the chops and everything to do it. But it'd be nice if he came with a sprinkle of green and gold, with a bit of history, with a bit of tie-in. It would be.
This is where coordinators come in.
Yeah.
Chris Morris comes in to change the culture of the Elks, who have just simply become losers. I mean, they're a team that finds ways to not win football games. He comes in, changes the culture, and yeah, you go out and you spend your money on your coordinators, and it'd be tough to convince Buck Pierce to leave Winnipeg or Max Simic, who was part of this organization one time. But
you sell guys on a project. Those guys, you might get a head turn saying, "Okay, I've been here for so many." Yeah, I know, but it's just what is the project? What do you want this team to be? How do you want all of those things? Because I think. And I'm going to use the Rough Rider example again because it's just so it's black and white from the Dickinson regime and era, especially last year, into which he was a lame duck contract. And now you bring a guy like Corey Mace, who's, again, you want to use the term running through walls. He's got guys running through walls. The culture shift there has been a total 180 from what it was last year to people saying, we're going to go in, I'll go to practice, I'll put in my film, then I'll go home. And it is just that type of blasé attitude.
Yeah.
It's totally different now. And I think you can do that with any organization. I think this one's clearly screaming out for that. But there's a staleness to it. And I think if you go out and get a guy that's at least transmitting a good message and a feeling of togetherness, not only with the players but the fan base as well, that's what this organization and market needs. Because right now there's a big divide. It's going out and getting the good guy for the job, but also somebody that can bring people together. You don't need another boring tactician or somebody who's going to be a little prickly. You're kind of looking for that full package. I don't know who is out there right now for that. Morris, Killam, whomever. But I think, again, Buck Pierce was in the discussions to be a HC last offseason. I don't know if you go that route and say, hey, we're bringing Buck Pierce. It's not got a cachet to it. You do need a good guy for this job, but you also need a guy that, as you mentioned with Morris, a bit of something else that kind of ticks the box for the fan base.
5 to 6 years in to Chris Morris with Golden Bears, people are still like, you need to fire this guy. He hasn't taken them anywhere. And the Golden Bears remained patient and ended up paying off in the end. So Big Maple says, are the Elks not a joke of a team now? Chris Morris has clearly demonstrated he understands how to trade up from a paperclip to a Ferrari.
Yes, but we could also say let's exercise some patience with Chris Jones.
No,
I'm not saying it. No, but you understand the example. You understand the example that might be there.
I don't understand.
I'm not. Well, because Chris Morris.
How can you be patient for him?
You gave Chris Morris time. What
is he, 8-32?
Yeah, well.
There's no patience here with Chris Morris.
Well,
that's
Chris
out
Jones,
the window.
There was with Chris Morris. There's not with Chris Jones.
Yeah, damn it. I keep mixing up Chris Jones and Chris Morris. There's no patience here with Chris Jones anymore. I'm sorry.
No, but you had it with Morris at U of A for a long time.
Slightly
styles, different programs. I get it. It's
pro game to university
game.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot different. Yeah, I mean,
no, I'm not.
The argument for patience is gone, long gone. In a slightly different situation with more stable ownership and not going through this process right now, he's probably gone today.
Yeah, or yesterday.
His winning percentage is like 191 or something like that. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for what was once a great franchise, and I still truly believe that if they can get back winning again, it'll be a great franchise again.
Yes. And all the fans coming up in my face bragging to me about how many consecutive years you made the playoffs. I don't get that anymore. It's easy to support a winner. Very easy. Very, very easy.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We will get to 3 questions and kind of easy trivia coming up. Chad Jenkins says, guys, it's time for Ford. Has the most wins of any QBs that they've used. It's true, but I look at this, are you going to drastically change your style of play, I guess? Because Trey Ford's not coming in and throwing the football well. I mean, I'm sorry. Last year, even when they were up and down and he was winning games and losing games, he threw for more than 220 yards twice in the entire second half of the season. But he runs the ball, right? So it's a completely different team. I'm sitting here looking at it going, okay, well, they've got a great group of receivers. Does that make it easier for Trey Ford to pass this year because they've got these great receivers? Or do you look at it and go, it's going to be more of a run game and you're eliminating what's one of the strengths of your team, which is your receiving core? So,
Owen Jans. If CJ is out, I would give it to Shivers and then call up JC Sherritt to see if he wants a promotion. That's an interesting name. Doing some good work with the Rough Riders quarterbacks this year, although new to that staff. But that could be a name in the future that perhaps comes back
down
to
the road
Edmonton.
a little bit.
That's
can
what I was
see
talking
that.
about. Has the cachet, but also the smarts, and not too removed from the current game. That is a good actual coach. Like time for JC Sherritt.
Ooh, we got a blockbuster in the Kurt Float this morning.
Deals going down.
Holy smokes! It's been a busy year for trades, but this is a big one. Might be the biggest trade we've seen,
and it's been accepted. Like this is all.
Well, I guess I don't know the procedures
is it
here.
good for announcing?
Technically, I might deny it, but how about this? Baltimore Stallions have acquired Brady Oliveira from the Miami Manatees in exchange for a 2025 first-round pick.
So somebody needed an RB, hey?
Brady Oliveira
desperate
goes, but also a Canadian.
Yeah.
Brady Oliveira is one of the most valuable pieces in Canadian fantasy football. Going for the first-round pick next year. Holy smokes. A blockbuster in the Cavis Reed Fantasy Football League of Adult Things. Cavis Reed pump-up song on the other way here just after 8 o'clock. We got a sports update coming up with Lieutenant Eric. We need somebody to play kind of easy trivia this morning. If you'd like to win a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, all you have to do is text YouTube Trev right now and say you'd like to play. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Once again, text Trev, say I'd like to play kind of easy trivia today and be a hero on a Monday. 780-218-9999. 3 questions too many coming up just after 8 o'clock as well. We'll get to That Hurts at 8:30 today on the Nielsen Show, which is presented to you by Southport Chevrolet. Check them out at www.southportchev.com. Once again, if you want to play kind of easy trivia, 780-218-9999. Let Trev know. If you're looking for work, ClayburnServices.com should be the first website that you go to this morning. They are hiring all different levels of the company right now. ClayburnServices.com. Lieutenant Eric's got more on that after a sports update right here on EST.
Week 6 in the Canadian Football League wrapping up last night down at Commonwealth, where Lewis Ward had the walk-off field goal, dropping the Elks to 0-5. Ottawa escaped 37-34 victors over the Elks. Drew Brown passing for 480 yards in the win. Elks will visit Ottawa Friday, kicking off Week 7. Argentina over Colombia 1-0 at the Copa America. Lautaro Martinez with the winner in the 112th minute of extra time. Stingers fall on the road 105-104 to Niagara. Stingers drop to 11-7 on the campaign. They'll round out a 3-game road trip Thursday in Saskatoon. Riverhawks doubled up in Victoria 6-3 as the Harbour Cats taking 2 of 3 over the weekend. Hawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield. The West Coast League's All-Star game goes Wednesday from Bellingham. Prospects also losing yesterday 7-4 to the Sylvan Lake Gulls out in Sherwood Park, while the Jays victorious down in Arizona as they avoid the sweep 8-7 over the Diamondbacks. Home run derby tonight from Arlington, followed by tomorrow's All-Star game. The Jays are back home to host Detroit on Friday. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Check out www.clayburnservices.com or make it easy. Call Jeff, 780-910-6728.
I can remember back being an 11-year-old kid about 75 pounds on the basketball court against the neighborhood bully, kicking his behind left, right, and center. And when it was all said and done, he was a little bit upset, so he punched me in the mouth. My uncles were over on the side observing, talking amongst themselves adult things. When he punched me in the mouth, I decided I'm running to my uncle. You know what he did? He pushed me back to him. I went back, he punched me in my mouth again. I ran to my uncle, looking for protection. Needed Big Bro to protect me. He pushed me back again. And you know what I did? I faced him in the eye. And I said, my uncle's not going to help me. So I punched him in the face. And then I looked him in the eye and I said, then what? Now what? Now what? Now what are you going to do? You simply
Oh, Cavis Reed, pump up song. Gotta have it. Trying to do anything to get that team a victory at some point. Another heartbreaking finish for the Edmonton Elks, dropping one 37-34 to the Ottawa Red Blacks. Songs on the Nielsen Show brought to you by Sportball. Start planning for that fall activities for your kids. Check them out online at sportball.ca. Nielsen Show presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Check them out, South Fort Chevrolet. Not a long drive at all. Less than 15 minutes from the East End. Slide on out there, and they'll hook you up. Tell them we sent you, and they'll give you 15% off accessories for your new ride. www.southfortchev.com. That's 101 89th Ave, Fort Sask. Go visit their website and go on out and have a little bit of a Nerf gun experience while you're there. We can't make this up. That is a real thing, and I absolutely love it.
Bring your own.
Yeah. Well,
I came packing like Neo.
now that would be cool. Have a bag. Carry
Hey, Daniel, somebody's here for you.
Gun bag. Hey, what are you doing? Are you here for a new vehicle? Possibly. If you can beat me, drop it. Open it up.
Daniel.
Daniel's ready. He's ready.
I've been waiting for you.
Oh, nice to meet you. Reaches out, has one of those guns that pops out up your sleeve.
All Nerf.
Buy now, sucker. That'd be great. SouthFortChev.com. That should be their new slogan. South Fort Chev. Buy now, sucker. All right, but it's a Nerf gun.
Buy now, sucker.
Yeah, that'd be good. I like that. You know what?
Well,
Daniel, Claire, the team out there, you can use it.
Put it on the paper. Yeah,
you can use it. You're welcome. All right, we're going to play kind of easy trivia. We're going to get to 3 questions too many as well. Another charity golf classic coming up. Not ours, but another one. And Luke Gasnick's going to be a part of it. We're going to give you some details on that as we work our way through this hour as well. And that hurts for the personal injury lawyers at SBLLP. We'll go there around 8:30 today as well. Lots of conversation on the Elks here, obviously, after another heartbreaking loss. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. We would appreciate that. We've got to blow past 200 here. My goodness, let's go. Hammer the thumbs up and sub to the channel if you haven't already. Chat is moving along nicely, and we will get into a few more of those as well. YouTube, Trev, who's going to play kind of easy trivia today?
We've got Spency 5 Centsy.
Spency 5 Cents. He's going to play kind of easy trivia today. Looking to get his hands on that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave at Mark Messier Trail. One of the first to make the move on the 6 o'clocker lager. And what a great decision that ended up being for the fine folks over at Mr. Mike's. Spency 5 Cents. He will need to get 3 of the 5 questions correct to win kind of easy trivia today. Let's bring him in. Spency, 5 Centsy, you ready to roll, buddy?
I'm ready to roll.
All right, I'll start the ticker after I read the first question. Good luck. Here we go. Did the Edmonton Elks win yesterday?
Negative.
What position does McLeod Bethel Thompson play?
Quarterback.
Who is the Elks' backup quarterback?
Trey.
Name one receiver on the Elks.
Pass.
Which nation won Copa America?
Argentina.
Oh, he said Trey. He said Trey for the backup.
I got
He said Trey. We got Trey. He wins. It was close, but he wins. Whew, Spency. No, Spency.
No! Oh my God. Damn it, Shake, stop it!
They are going to remember that AM radio is a viable and modern source for news and entertainment. Totally. People don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV. That's stupid. It sure is, Kevin.
I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just
I'm
so stoked.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Needed that on a Monday, hey?
Oh.
Get that big W. We got it over the line here.
He got it.
He kicked that one through the other end zone, hey?
Yeah, he's trying to get it. Yeah, looking for that instead of out of bounds.
Yeah, exactly.
With 8 seconds left to give him the ball to 50.
Who is he?
So that's
Dean
great.
Faithful?
Neil, is it actually? You know what? Last night I was in the stands after somewhere, and people were like, "Dusty, where's Dean Faithful when you need him?"
Somebody asked in the Nasty Chat this morning. Yeah,
he's still around.
Yeah, he's probably watching Euro Final.
He's still around.
Bad day. No, he is still around. He's still on the.
Petey just did the one thing you can't do. He also missed a 31-yard field
And
goal,
Beatty
too.
does have a stronger. Faithful's never had a strong. I mean, if Faithful's not kicking it through the other end zone, Beatty would be the guy to do it in terms of leg strength.
Yeah.
If you're putting your money on anybody,
That's one of the boldest moves ever, though. What do? You leave time on the clock to try to hammer a rouge through the other end to win the game, and then instead he overkicks it and botches it out of bounds.
Overthinking,
and
overtrying.
Leaves the ball on the 50, and then you get gashed right down the middle for 29 yards, and then Lewis Ward walks it off.
It's that getting gas down the middle, though. I think is the one that low key
Your
stings
defense
the most.
still could have got you out of
You
that.
could have exactly. The Beatty error is glaring, but just to switch gears here, Jen asks, "Have you guys talked about how to get into the Nasty Bash? I fell asleep. I may have missed it. I'm awake now.
I'm glad you
LOL.
brought that up. Okay, so according to Matthew Iwanek, we exchanged emails on this over the weekend. Nasty Club members, and if you are a Nasty Club member, you should watch for an email from Maddie. If you're like, what's the Nasty Club? Go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com, click on Nasty Club. I know in August, I think Maddie will be refiring up the annual subscription so you can sign up for another year, get some more merch, all that type of stuff. Nasty Club members, one of the things about being a Nasty Club member, one of the benefits is you will get first crack at the Nasty Bash. So for the next 2 days, Nasty Club members will have a chance to RSVP by Wednesday. Once we figure out the number of Nasty Clubbers who are going to be at the Nasty Bash, then we will open it up to everybody else. You'll email in, try to get an invite, and you can join us as well. The Nasty Bash is going down not this Friday, but next Friday at the St. Albert Rugby Club. Invite only. Your name will be on the list, and it should be a little bit of a gong show. We're going to be doing the first ever 6 o'clocker lager baptisms. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going full body.
Yeah, I thought you wanted to get waterboarded.
Some people walk right in. You know,
Yeah.
you go,
Yeah, I'm going to bring washcloths and we'll waterboard you.
yes.
Tell us who else you guys are hiring.
Birdie boost, please.
Also, major announcement at the Nasty Bash. Major announcement. Nothing against a beer, nothing against a birdie booze. They've both been great announcements. Major announcement next Friday at the Nasty Bash. We think you're going to like it.
Yeah, it's got NWO type of stuff written all over it.
It does.
I'm talking WCW, NWO. You know,
Of course. Yeah. So you want to be there for that. It's going to be a historic moment for EST.
Rip City Step says, check your spam junk mail folders. I want to likes to hide in there. Just make sure he's
careful with that. So Nasty Clubbers, going to need you to reply by Wednesday if you're going to be coming or not. Then we'll be able to get some numbers, open it up to everybody else. And let's pack the St. Albert Rugby Club again. Hopefully the weather's outstanding. We can be out on the patio having a good time. I can't wait till we'll have some tunes going.
Fergie will be piping us in.
Oh, Fergie will have the bagpipes going again.
Yeah.
This year, we won't have a banner to take photos that I made at 2 a.m. the night before, just by printing off a number of paper and taping them together. I remember Bruce from William Huff was like, what the hell are you doing? Just let us help you. And help us they have. It's been outstanding. So, yeah, that is the latest on the Nasty Bash. Let's get into 3 questions too many today. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segments?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he can't wait until this weekend because race week is back. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. It's the one thing this weekend was missing was a little Formula One action.
Yeah, I mean, the Formula One's been pretty good lately.
Yeah, I know. It's great. But, you know,
I
I like that European week, and I had a little bit off. But I do believe the Hungaro ring will be next weekend. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Check them out, parkmazda.ca.
Brandon from Windsor says, moving to Shanks? I wish.
Well,
no, that's not the announcement. Brent over in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999 says, major announcement, moving back to AM radio?
Hey, your house burned down. We're going to move back in? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
you can keep it.
There's zero chance. There's zero chance. That's like somebody coming to us and being like, hey, I'm going to open up a video store. Do you want to get in on it? No. We'll pass.
Now, if that was FM.
I got some time for FM. But still, I mean, the circumstances would have to be so beneficial for us to get involved in radio again in any way. I just don't ever see it happening.
Let me see that transmitter.
Yeah. Can I get a look at this, please?
I just want to give it a kick.
Wait a second. Is this an hour out of town and you can't pick it up? I'm in. I mean, come on. All right. Do you have a Twitter account?
Yes, at Lieutenant_Eric, you can relive and recap the fun that it was yesterday. Hey, even Southfort Chevrolet, great on Twitter as well, at Southfort Chev. They've been tweeting out some stuff from the golf tournament last week, and a nice little picture of us in the box of one of their trucks. A nice promotional.
That was cool.
Yeah, so a nice touch there. But everything from yesterday at the tailgate, as I've said, I said in the nasty chat, I was kind of mixing up with some people. That's a sleeping giant down there. I was walking around, I took a big shot yesterday. I couldn't move. Okay, I mean, I found myself run time down one of the aisles with the tents.
You need to climb a tree to get a real good picture.
But I couldn't move. I couldn't see anything. So I'm stuck. So I took my phone, I put my hand up like this, and I just took a picture. And it was just a sea of humanity. It's so good down there that if you just had a winner, what could be, but.
Like, imagine
it's still going, which is encouraging.
Being in a 9-2 spot.
Oh, dude,
that tailgate. It'd be shoulder. I mean, it almost already is getting to be shoulder to shoulder at times.
Well, it'd have to be. Okay, we can't allow. Like it'd be a thing. You'd have to show up early to get. Like that's the dream here, I guess, or making it even bigger. But there's something. It's going down, and I tweeted out, "Great time at the Elks tailgate again. What else is new?" And that's pretty much what it is. But everything else from the weekend as well. Mick Aussie was down there. We had a good time with him. Trev and Zach, the boys, they're mixing it up too with everything down there. So it was just a fun afternoon, fun night, and just didn't get the result on the field.
Yeah, make sure you go see the boys. Zach is in his element, I think Trev said, right, Trev?
Like exactly. Yeah. I kind of just sit back and be like, great job, Zach. He's like, thanks, Trev. But
yeah, you guys got some dynamic going on.
You guys are having a good time down there.
People asking for a bit of merch.
Really good.
Maybe a little Rubbermaid.
People want the merch.
A little float, you know.
Maddie would would love to organize a float. He would love it. I've got eyes on this float.
Here's the float.
But yeah, we could do some merch down there. We gave away all the glasses that we took. We're gonna have to order more sunglasses. They're gonna plow through those like crazy. All the water went.
Chips. They love the chips.
They love the chips.
You can barely see our tent because the shine off the James H. Brown bright yellow truck is so powerful.
Everybody gasped.
That the boys are like, ah!
Yeah. It's a nice truck.
We'll have a little chat with Trent here at some point and be like, listen, if we're rolling in Zach's Toyota hatchback, we can't have James H. Brown truck right next to us that is stealing the show.
Or you got to already be in there. You can't be.
Yeah.
Zach's the one that has to parade the RAV4 through the...
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Show up 2 hours late like some of the people.
Yeah.
I just don't know what you're doing, showing up and trying to drive to your tailgate spot. They can't be allowed. Dahmer, Jones, Nanso, whoever's listening, you can't have people driving into the tailgate 2 hours in.
In the old place, the old tailgating site, if somebody did find themselves driving through, I mean, they were relentlessly booed.
Yeah.
And a few taps on the window as you did, and that should be it. But there wasn't much of that yesterday. I want to make these people feel shame, as they should feel shame for showing up either late to the tailgate or not knowing where your damn stall is either. It's one thing to show up late knowing where you have to be to go directly there, but if you're cutting laps and doing loops up and down the aisles, for shame. For shame.
Kyle the Embalmer says the announcement has to be the Estes. Well, we already announced the Estes.
What's their announcement?
The Estes are happening on Tuesday, September 17th.
There you go.
We'll give you all the details on how you can get tickets and stuff, but yeah, that's already a thing. That's going to be a great night.
JMO too was mixing it up in the tailgate for a bit yesterday.
Was he?
Came over and saw the boys, eh? And how about X-Ray Jay? You met him too, eh, Trev? The guy that usually works during the night and he wakes up with us, or he's still up and he's usually doing a little drinking.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. Like, he's a wildcat. Oh yeah. A real AM nasty.
Yeah, a lot of the nasties, they kind of just hung out with us for pretty well the whole
Great vibe.
tailgate.
That's it.
Yeah, it was
I think
awesome.
a few of them were like
Lance
working
does
the
stuff.
table.
Kane was there. Yeah. He was like, listen, make sure you listen.
I walked up and Lance Kane was like, have you heard of Edmonton Sports Talk? He's like, oh, no, tell me about it.
I think Matt have a few invoices this morning, eh?
I think that's that was a lot of fun. Yeah. All right, here we go. Question number 1. What do you guys think the Elks' record would be if Trey Ford had started the first 5 games? Once again, we said it's not necessarily a quarterback issue.
Not necessarily,
but it's
however,
a find a way to win issue.
So maybe if you've got a different guy leading that, like nothing against MBT, but he is a pretty quieted demeanor fellow. I don't know. I'm just trying to 1-4 to give people what they want.
Yeah,
give you
I was going to say 1-4 as well.
Because you're not, again, as you said, and rightly so, you can't blame MBT for a lot of these. I mean, what is it, 3 consecutive games for? Now, you get to that point, getting the walk-off field goal. But again, last night, you eliminate that by the defense holding one play, not allowing them to get in the field goal position. Trey Ford can give you a few more stylistic points and a little more fun and maybe a win, but not too much. Given what the team
1-4.
Yeah,
I'd say 1-4. I mean, their defense is atrocious. Their defense is not good. 1-4. This is an interesting question. Question number 2 here, and 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. Why would anyone want to buy this team right now?
We just were talking for about 5 to 7 minutes there. Rerun the tape.
Yeah.
That's it. There's
You're thinking like the tailgate, like
there's something here. There's history here. There's a lot of stuff here. Again, if I had the money, I'd be looking at this and just rubbing my mitts. Like, oh baby, what I can do with this? This isn't a market where you're pulling teeth or you have a giant down the road, but that happens during the winter seasons. It's nothing that you're competing against in the summer, a la the Toronto Blue Jays or whatever you want to call it. You got something here. You've got a great stadium. You've got a great fan base, a passionate, knowledgeable fan base that still want to have fun, and they are. So it's there, baby. You just got to put the people in place to get the wins in the column. That's easier said than done, but
I think if you're
as a coach right now, I wouldn't want anything to do with that. I want to put myself in this position right now because it is a bit of a mess. You need to get the ownership figured out, but I think once you do that, you got something here.
If it ends up going to a local owner who has ties, not necessarily ties to the organization directly, but knows what it's been in the past and can take a hit financially for a bit, I think you're buying in a real good low spot here.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, oh, they suck, but we still want you to overpay by millions and millions and millions of dollars to buy the Elks. Like, from a business perspective, if you're somebody that has a personal value of 100 million, 500 million, billion, like whatever, buying the Elks is not going to cost you a lot of what you overall have in the coffer. So I think it's a real nice buy low spot for somebody who can then put the right people in place and turn this back into what the Bombers have been for the last 4 or 5 years, and kind of the headline.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg was they were a disaster for a long time.
It's unfortunate in the CFL that teams do have to lose. There have to be teams that do lose. They can't all win, and it is a 9-team league. And when you're losing, I mean, look at what BC's been doing now. The Stampeders, that's another market where they've kind of fallen on a few rough times here, but they were winning for decades. They were getting good fans.
Yeah.
So that happens. Hamilton will support anybody. That's great. That's what they do. But it's unfortunate right now. Somebody asking about CTV2 finally coming.
CTV2 is not going to happen.
A great joke.
That is an old school joke.
It's a real good one.
This show will never work on video. Why would they do that?
Yeah. I don't know, man. And you're right, with a bit of a knowledge about I think too with the ownership, well, the shall we say out of country president and whatever happened there. I mean, there was a quite a sizable disconnect.
Yeah.
With not even knowing anything that had to happen.
I think they dropped the ball a number of times.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Victor Cui tricked them into thinking he was probably bigger, better deal than he was in reality. Chris
he was allowed to do a lot.
Thing never made sense.
They were all allowed to do quite a bit though, without any real checks or it was here, go in, do it. You sold us on a plan, go do it. Well, yeah.
Brett makes an interesting point watching over on YouTube. And hey, if you're watching on YouTube today, let's hammer the thumbs up for us. We would appreciate that. Closing in on 200 here today, so hammer the thumbs up for us. Quiet times in the summer for sure, but allows us a chance to dive into some good conversations like the one about the football team here in the city right now. Brett B says, new owners have a really good opportunity to come in and turn this around. If you're able to even make the organization somewhat respectable again, you're going to profit from it. I mean, they are coming in at an all-time low. Like from outside of a buy low perspective, it's an all-time low for the franchise. You cannot buy this franchise and somehow make it worse. I legitimately think that's impossible to do.
Yeah. And coming off, this was a franchise that, again, I was told day in, day out, how many consecutive years they made the postseason, the Grey Cups, the everything. You've got not only there's the bar low, you have arguably the most history from without. I know the Argonauts have Grey Cups. I know you can say anything about every franchise, but I think the history here too is something you can really build off of. It's not like you're coming in and it's we got 10 years to talk about and that's about it. Lots of history with this club, as we've seen this year and celebrating the anniversary that they did. But you're right. I mean, there's not much of a worse hatchet job you could do right now to this organization. But this is where it is, and I think again, if I was walking down the street and I see this organization in the shop window, I'm like, wow, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
And I can really see, you can envision what it can become. Zulu, Paris Jewelers Inbox. Exactly. EE could be special again. It will be. The brand will be.
There will be a time. Yes, 100%.
I don't know when that is, how fast it'll happen, but it'll be back.
I thought it was interesting. I saw you going back and forth with somebody in the Paris Jewelers Inbox at 780-218-9999 on the fact that, finishing last in the CFL and having a high draft pick, you don't get Connor McDavid. Like, you don't get LeBron James. You don't get Wembanyama. There's nobody very rarely in those spots. Do you turn your franchise around through a draft? I mean,
all those other leagues want you to. They don't want somebody losing for too long. You're in last place. Here's your reward. You get a generational talent. Oh, you screwed up that one. Here's another reward. You screwed up that one. and it keeps going and going. And you can keep doing that, I guess. But there's no lifelines in the CFL for that. You have to have great scouting. You have to have that pipeline going. But nobody's going to save you in a draft. You're not going to get that. Yes, there have been some good prospects coming through and good, but nobody's like eyeing up the draft and saying, "Ooh, gotta finish last to do this." You lose, nobody's helping you out, and it's sink or swim as an organization, unfortunately. But NFL, NHL, sure, they want to see a backup top.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Norm Combine says, any Nasty Bash info. Norm, we just hit it.
Norm's just a little behind.
Nasty Club members are going to get an email from Maddie. They'll have first crack at spots for the Nasty Bash. Once we realize how many of those spots are taken by Nasty Clubbers, we will we'll fire out the call for people to try to get an invite, probably starting by Wednesday, if not Thursday. And the Nasty Bash will be happening Friday, July 26th. And it's going to be awesome. Can't wait for it. All right, let's get to question number 3. Guys, do we have a date for the movie prop draft yet?
There was talk over the weekend, correct?
There was.
There were rumblings and availabilities.
We are looking at it. It felt like everybody was available for Wednesday, the 24th.
Yeah, should be down.
The commish said she would find a way. Quinn Phillips, myself, Gazzola, Glue Guy, Lieutenant Eric.
She might be moving her career around for this one. This draft is so important.
Well, she just altered her career. The commish has a new gig
for the draft.
Not with us, but on the 24th from 9 to 11. That is the plan right now for what could end up possibly being a 20-round draft of movie props. Locked and loaded. It gives us, what do we got, 9 days to set categories to lay this thing out?
I think Thursday before you left for the weekend, we were going, you were picking them out of the air. It was
flying
amazing.
like crazy.
A bountiful cornucopia.
Flying like crazy. So we got to have a bunch of categories. So for you hardcores, if you want to suggest the different categories that would take us to 20 rounds, we got some flexibility here. Feel free. Let's go. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Slide into our DMs on Twitter. Hit us up in the Nasty Chat. Hell, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com if you really want to, dive into this draft quite a bit. Business@edmontonsportstalk.com because we're gonna have to put something together here. That'll be great.
Tommy the Wrench in the Nasty Chat this morning. He's up there.
I love Tommy Gazzola rolling in at 8:29 and just being like, what a crappy way to lose last night. Like, we haven't been talking about it for 2.5 hours. Wait, what game are you talking about, Tommy?
TubeSuck says wrong. It was a fresh and new way to lose. So, in a sense.
Well, technically.
I know it's the field goals, but
it's the same way to lose, but in a new way.
A little bit of a twist, yeah.
Is any team in the league more creative than the Edmonton Elks? I saw somebody say the Dino thing was just silly trying to drop it. I thought the Dino thing was cute. I thought the Dino thing was fun.
Have you been to a baseball game?
Like, well,
no, we're not going to start slagging promotions. No, I'm not having this.
Well, and this
Won't
is
have it.
exactly where these two
Will not
franchises are
have
at
it.
right now. If the Riverhawks roll out T-Rex Dino Night,
They're
people
so
are
fun.
like, this is the
They're
greatest
so
thing
inventive.
ever.
They're so creative.
The Elks do it, and people are like, well, trying too hard. No, they didn't. It was hilarious. Did you not see when they had those babies dressed up as dinosaurs and they were trying to race back to their moms?
That was so good.
That was hilarious.
Every
Now,
second person was there due to that deal yesterday as well. That deal was fantastic. The Nuggets, the kids, the
it was
tickets,
great.
$60, perfect.
I thought it was from an atmosphere perspective, it was a fun day at the park. But I will say those babies sucked. Like, none of them were moving.
No.
Finally, one of them stood up and was like, screw it, and just walked across.
I thought they were extinct.
Baby dinosaurs.
Baby dinosaurs went extinct.
Like, they started the race. We were about to go on. What they do at first, right after the first quarter. So we're about to hop on camera for our hit after to do some stats. And somebody's like, look at this. And I turn around and I look down, and all the babies are just sitting there like.
Then the mums were inching closer.
Yeah, they kept coming cheating. I don't know what the race ended up being. Like, who
Just
ended up
reach
winning?
out and touch my hand.
Yeah. It was like first baby to move, win something. And they were all just. Now, think about being a baby at a huge stadium like Commonwealth.
Blow your mind.
And you're just sitting there, you're all nervous. Like, look what happened to Boris Beatty, for goodness sakes. How are you expecting these babies to move? Still, I thought it was super cute. I thought it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, JC the Glazier. Dino Night was awesome. My 6-year-old had an amazing time. And you're right, it was a fun day out at the park. And a nice day, too, weather-wise, which was fantastic. The Elks have had to deal with a few doozies at home.
It was perfect. It was the wheelhouse. It was
great day for a football game.
I thought it was a real fun day for a football game. Yeah. And I think if you were there, outside the fact that the team blew it in remarkable fashion,
which you and
probably
I
had a pretty good time.
And we don't have any control over that. I mean, that happens. But yes, what you do have over control is heading out to the tailgate and doing everything else there. So it's good. It's fun. And
I really wish there was a game here that I wasn't doing and I happened to be here and I could go to that tailgate and just smash beverages.
Frank the Tanker.
Just, me and VR, like the game begins and we're just sitting out there in
popsicles.
the tailgate. That's it.
It's like Sunday, July 28, 5 o'clock. Your Edmonton Elks at home to the 0-5 as it currently stands Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Well, if you can't win that one,
you
know what? I'll guarantee the victory. Never again. That was a tough one. All right, sports update with Lieutenant Eric for Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. Gonna drown your sorrows from an Elks loss. Why not do it with 60 slices of pizza? That'll get the job done.
Or a real big one.
One
They
huge
got the big slice.
I'd like
That
to
huge
order.
slice.
They
I
got the-
want it.
No, what I want to see is you order the 36-incher unsliced, and you just slowly work away at it. That'd be great. Sports update with Lieutenant Eric right now.
Week 6 in the CFL wrapping up last night down at Commonwealth. It was the Elks dropping a nail-biter. 37-34, they lose to the Red Blacks, dropping Edmonton to 0-5. Drew Brown passing for 480 yards. 3 Red Black receivers going over 100 on the day. The Elks visit Ottawa Friday, kicking off Week 7. Copa America wrapping up yesterday. Argentina, the victors, they defeat Colombia 1-0. Lautaro Martinez with the lone goal in the 112th minute of extra time. Stingers fall on the road 105-104 to Niagara. Stingers are 11-7. They'll wrap up a 3-game road trip Thursday in Saskatoon. Riverhawks doubled up down in Victoria 6-3 as the Harbor Cats take 2 of 3 from Edmonton over the weekend. Hawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield. West Coast League's All-Star Game goes Wednesday from Joe Martin Field out in Bellingham, to which the Edmonton Riverhawks will be represented by 5 players. Prospects, they drop one out in Sherwood Park, 7-4 to Sylvan Lake Gulls. Well, the Jays, they avoid the sweep, 8-7 over the Diamondbacks yesterday. Home Run Derby and MLB goes tonight from Arlington, followed by tomorrow's All-Star Game. Jays are back home to host Detroit on Friday. Sports Update brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain, serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. It's a pizza experience you've been waiting for. Check them out today, 12848 97th Street. Order online, www.bmpp.ca, or call 587-746-0550.
Ever since he was a young boy, he hasn't been very tall. From Zona up to Edmonton, he's the oil fireball. Yeah, we ain't seen nothing like him, don't need no Taylor Hall with a quick, hard snapshot. Goal scored by Josh Archibald. He flies around the ice rink with terror in his eyes, hitting all the G-men, all the bigger guys. He plays with inspiration, bounces up when he falls with a quick, hard snapshot. Goal scored by Josh Archibald. He's a PK wizard, he clears the zone so quick. A PK wizard's got such an active stick. How do you think he does it? I don't know what makes him so good. Ain't got no detractors, cause he works hard and tries. Even Gregor likes him, stick is the right size. Always makes the right play, he's not afraid to brawl. With a quick, hard snapshot, goal scored by Josh Archibald.
That was a good one. I liked him until he took that stupid penalty in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, that's going to be the
one
decider
backfired.
there. Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up. All of our songs brought to you by Sportball. Get your kid ready and registered for their fall programs right now. We're 10 likes away from smashing through 200 this morning, so hammer the thumbs up for us. Puts our content out to others on the platform. And if you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com today, please just fire the link to EST to all your buddies on a quick text. That would be great. The Nielsen Show presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Closer than you think since 1983. Just a short drive to Fort Sask is worth it to find the best deal at the best price. Your go-to dealership for Silverado 1500s and heavy duties. Go see Daniel and his great team at South Fort Chev. Tell them we sent you, and they'll take excellent care of you and give you 15% off accessories on your new ride. Hey, let's talk Feast on the Field. Then we'll get into That Hurts. Trev, can you track down that the new graphic I put in today? Let's get into this. Capital Care Foundation. This is great. So I was chatting with Erin, this lady whose husband and daughter love the show. She's like, all they do is talk about the show.
Okay.
And we know that you have Luke Gazdick on the show. We're teaming up with Luke to do some work. So we want to get some buzz on the show. So Capital Care Foundation is hosting the Feast on the Field and then the Charity Golf Classic with special guest MC Luke Gazdick. One lucky foursome will get to spend the day golfing at Red Tail with Luke. Capital Care Foundation believes everyone deserves to live with dignity. They do this by providing positive mental wellness and a home-like atmosphere. They do this with funds from events like the Feast on the Field and the Charity Golf Classic. The date for these events, August 14th and 15th. The Feast on the Field is at Commonwealth Stadium, where everyone in attendance will most certainly throw for over 400 yards against the Elks defense. And then the Charity Golf Classic happening out at Red Tail. For more information on this, and if you want to take part in the Golf Classic or go maybe find out the details on how you could end up golfing with Gazdick that day, www.capitalcarefoundation.net. www.capitalcarefoundation.net for more information on the Feast on the Field and the Charity Golf Classic from the Capital Care Foundation. We're going to have Gazdick on the show to talk about this event. You know, he's great on TV, but I wonder how many events he's emceed.
Well, this whole world is rather new to him, hey?
Yeah.
Like, everything, like it's a different...
He's great at it.
Yeah. Well, if you just dropped me on this planet Earth, you're telling me that he used to be an NHL, like, enforcer type. Like, I've not seen him.
Same with Cassian.
Like, they've transformed themselves really nicely. It's a good fit.
Cass is just, he's a soft puppy.
He's a big old bear.
He's a soft puppy dog. I thought nice turnout from the whole EST crew at the Elks game yesterday. Belsey was there. Gager was the sweatiest person Trev's ever seen.
Gager
in
hooked
his
us
entire
up,
life.
as he does. Yeah, Gager gave us a little sustenance, but he was, oh man. Yeah, that shirt was...
What a day for
and look at
Zacticum.
that. Yeah.
So what is this? Is Ryan Jesperson
Ryan
dropped this
Jesperson
off?
popped by the tent. He was very gleefully.
Trev, go wide shot. Go wide shot for a
Jespo
second.
said we're doing great work. He congratulated us all on what we're doing.
So, yeah,
But
bring it down a bit, Zach.
Down a bit.
So what is this? This is supposed to be who?
It's a Spanish fan holding the Euro Cup trophy.
Is that the Euro Cup trophy?
Yeah.
Wow,
Nobody
cool.
wanted England to
Can
win.
I get my hands on it?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Give it a kiss. Give it a kiss.
I've always wanted one of these. That's terrific.
So how did the night go with the fan? Zach brought the fan home. We had
That was good.
Yeah.
Speaking of bringing people home, heard Zacticum was getting some numbers at the Elks game yesterday.
Yeah.
What a stud.
All thanks to Cool Bet.
All thanks to Cool
It was
Bet. There you
actually,
go.
yes, the keychains.
There you go. I like that as well. That's real nice. Thanks to Jespo for dropping that off there.
He was in and out. It was great. He had his family there. He goes, boys, I love the work you're doing. Great job. All continued success.
We love you too, Jespo.
Here's a blow-up doll of a Spanish fan.
Yeah.
And then he was out.
All right. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. And once again, shout out to Capital Care Foundation for reaching out to us and wanting some exposure. Feast on the Field Charity Golf Classic going down August 14th and 15th. www.capitalcarefoundation.net. All right, let's dive into That Hurts today. And yes, we're going to circle back around here on obviously what happened down at Commonwealth last night. In fact, some of them might want to reach out to the personal injury lawyers at sb-llp.com because that hurt last night. That hurt big time. Albertans suffer personal injuries and accidents every single day, but many of you too overwhelmed to seek the legal advice you need. Just leave it in the hands of those who can look after you. The experts at SB-LLP, personal injury lawyers. Gather that evidence, advance your claim to ensure you get fair compensation. And the best part is you don't need to be intimidated by the process because you're in good hands and they look after you. www.sb-llp.com. Click on personal injury or just call 780-438-5281, 780-438-5281. No need to feel shame. Let SB-LLP handle the claim. Can you think of a way to lose that hurts more than last night?
Well, how about this one too? Babbage Stash. I'm rewatching the game. He says right now.
Yeah.
Forgot about those 2 first quarter Kevin Brown runs. Back-to-back beast mode runs. Give that man the ball. And it hurts. Again, you can carve last night's game up in a variety of ways. Clearly the defense, Beatty, whatever. But let's get the final numbers here. Kevin Brown, 8 carries, 35 yards. 12 being the longest. Now, again, never in chase mode in this game. Never in a position of pulling the fire alarm or needing to...
He's got 39 carries all year. He was an 1,100-yard running back.
I know MBT, and I know the offense geared to, and they got a great stable of receivers. Nothing against that and the numbers but you've got a guy. I know maybe the offensive line did, but this is a guy that can, even if you do have a lesser than offensive line, is better than that. He's a great back. And to just go off Babbage Stash's text here and watching this thing again early on and seeing those 2 beast mode runs, it hurts that we're coming in here today and just talking about 35 yards in a tight game on home field, to which, again, you were never in chase mode. Run the rock.
Trying to think of a more hurtful way to lose a football game, but you drive so you're in a spot where you're going to need 2 touchdowns to get the job done, is what you're thinking. They get the 2 touchdowns. They drive the field twice. They get touchdowns. You're sitting there going, wow, they're forcing overtime.
But no,
it's actually happening.
It's like that game at home to the Bombers last year when they're 20-some up. And you should be going,
well, you know who was a quarterback,
all the confidence
right?
in the world.
Drew Brown.
But
Drew Brown
again,
is an Elks killer.
But did you think when they tied it up, like, or in the back of your mind was like, how are they going to spoil this one? Because that's kind of what you're thinking now, right? This team hasn't given you any sort of...
But with 8 seconds left in a tie game. So
they found a way now.
You know what else hurts? So my family's at the game. And Elizabeth had to go pee really bad. She's 7.
Yeah.
So Tammy's like, okay, well, after they scored the Prukop touchdown to tie the game, Tammy's like, well, you know what? Let's run to the washroom to go pee quickly before overtime. She's telling me this. We're walking out. I said, can you believe that finish? She goes, I missed it.
Not in the
I
CFL.
said, what are you talking about? You missed it. She goes, well, Elizabeth had to go pee. We thought we'd go pee and be back before overtime started. I was just like, oh my God. I said, what happened to Marshall? She goes, we left him in the seat by himself. And Marshall looks at me and goes, Daddy, they came back and I was just like this. He just had his head in his hands. He couldn't even take it.
But
that
a lesson in Canadian football watching. That's
never
just it.
Turn away.
Never. You can't.
Well, I saw somebody tweeted at me last night after I posted the game-winning field goal. Somebody tweeted me. They're like, Dusty, what happened? There was 8 seconds left. Like, what happened with the kick? I was like, well, never, ever, ever turn away from a CFL game. It's just, if you didn't learn your lesson before, you learned your lesson last night. Many people, and at this point, technically, I don't blame them, but many people, when they fell down 12, when it was 31-19, was it 31-19? people were leaving. Like, people were out. And I was like, I'm seeing them. I'm like, I get it. Like, they're going to be 0-5. I understand why you're leaving. But you can never leave a CFL game. There's just way too much wild stuff that happens late.
And the point will be proven again in Week 7 during one of the 4 games, I'm sure.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Don Ellis is in and says, new owners taking on an 0-5 team. Size of the stadium is an issue. Seats 60,000. Lucky if the Elks will get 30 max at games now. The tailgate is the only thing that's working. No, now when we talk about big stadium, we talk about new ownerships. Was that you were playing about the BC Lions?
Yes.
Because BC Place is a massive stadium.
Yeah, look, they're not going to be selling out 60,000, and I don't think new owners are looking at a current record of, like, big deal, 0-5. I mean, whatever. That's not a prospective owner's problem right now. It would be, but so what? I'm just saying that the bones are here. And with his final point, Don, and I love you, man, but the tailgate is the only thing working. No, it is. But with the existing infrastructure and the tailgate pumping, it's right there for the taking. You just need to put a product on the field. That's the final piece in this. A lot more complicated than it seems. You can't just go out and get a successful team, put on the field, but it's all there. You got the stadium. It's not like you're like, oh, not enough seats. You've got seats. Now the goal is to fill them.
Murbuck is in and says, honestly, I thought they would miss the extra point on the Elks, TD.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for them to go for 2.
Well,
for the win.
What do you think about that?
To go for the win instead of 2?
What would you have said if they went for 2
because they need a win.
If they went for 2 and got it, obviously you're like, yes.
Yeah.
What if they go for 2 and lose? What is that? Like, let's legitimately have that conversation.
Sure. Well, I would look at that and then say, gee, this team is really trying. They're going out to get because if you so they go for 1, they tie the game. Now the thought process is BD kicking it through to get the 1. Like, why don't you just go for the win there? Let your offense get the win.
Yeah.
Let go for the 2 points. If you don't get it, now you've tied it, and now you're still going to screw around on special teams and try to get the point. Which again, I get it needs to be executed. It wasn't. So it wasn't really a coaching call, but I would have had time going for 2 there. You need a win, and you want to give this fan base something exciting. That would be exciting. Now, and again too, I don't think Chris Jones is getting fired today. So I think in maybe a real world with real consequences, you make that call, you don't get it, you're probably getting a call into the office the next day and getting your papers. Whereas I think here, you could probably make that call and get away with it.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
If it doesn't pan out. Yeah, I mean, it would have been fun. But I understand why it wasn't done. But then you go out and try to win it with the,
McDoust is in and says, personally, the success the others had this year made me less interested in watching a losing Elks team. Well, yeah, but and you know what? You can flip it because when the Edmonton Oilers were finishing dead last or second last, the Edmonton Eskimos at the time were winning the Grey Cup in 2015. Right? And things can change, in a matter of a few years. You'd like to get to a spot where both of the teams here are championship contenders. That would be a lot of fun. That would be good.
Easy to support a winner. Very, very easy.
Chris Jones has had a lot of losses since coming back here. A lot. Is that the worst one?
Well, this goes back to last season too, and again, I go back to the Regina game where I couldn't get it out.
First game of the year.
And I just like communication, and if it hasn't changed by now, it's not going to change.
I got to stop here for a second because McDavid97 is over on YouTube and says, yeah, but when the Oilers finished dead last, the arena was full.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry, dude. You are incorrect.
Selective memories we have.
I mean, no.
And Ice District was bumping every single night, right?
No. When the Oilers sucked, that arena was not close to full. I'm sorry. You can go find some stats and be like, well, look at this. They announced this. Yeah, but when CFL teams announce that, people, that's what they're announcing. When the Oilers announced that, it was almost sold out.
Paper bags.
I went to a lot of those games during the Decade of Darkness. And you'd sit down and you'd look, and there were sections with 20, 30, 40 seats in a block that were open. So don't give me the bloody line that, even when the Oilers sucked, it was full, because that is 100% factually incorrect. When that team sucked, people didn't care either. I'm sorry. Numbers were down. It's that simple.
And we had the text inbox humming.
Come on, man.
We saw.
Don't give me that. That's just incorrect. It's incorrect. When they sucked, and the crowds were not great. It was like 13,000, 14,000 people in the building.
Having said that, though, this is a hockey nation, hockey city, hockey everything, right? Hockey will always that doesn't go away. It's a little more relatable than the football I get. But no, it wasn't the hottest ticket in town during those years. Let's be honest.
They sucked for a decade. I'm not even sitting here blaming fans who stopped going to Oilers games because they sucked the big one so bad. But in those years when they were out of the playoffs by early to mid-January, the building was not remotely close to being packed. Not at all. Completely incorrect. So don't try to spin this and pretend that the Oilers had a crazy amount of support when they sucked, because they didn't. That's just
easy to support a winner.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what you want to support. And look at BC. Amar Doman's come in. He's done great things. You cut and paste that guy into every single market in the Canadian Football League. But if the BC Lions still sucked, people wouldn't be going to BC Place. It's just that simple. The BC Lions are the most entertaining football team that we've seen in the CFL in a long time. And people are going to want to go watch a quarterback who's just shy of Doug Flutie's all-time record pace. I mean, they're a good team. You're going to want to go watch a good team. That's why I don't get on I don't understand people being like, well, doing promotions like Dino Days just seems like they're trying too hard. Well, you're not going to go because you're going to watch them win. So they got to try hard to get people into the stadium. You can't blame the organization for trying new things or trying to get creative or trying to have some fun with it. The team on the field can't deliver the dub. They're going to try to give you a victory from a fan experience in some other way.
And in your wallet, which they've been doing a good job of.
Mark is in and says, team keeps finding new ways to choke away games. People are fed up and not showing up. Interest is dying up. Yeah, it is, because this is a bandwagon city. Sorry to say it.
Oh, but
it's a bandwagon city. Yeah. Most big sports markets are. If the Edmonton Elks were 6-0 right now or 5-0 right now, there would be 5 to 10 more thousand people at Commonwealth. That's just how it works. Sports fans want to cheer for a winner. That's the whole point of sports fandom. (780-218-9999) 780-218-9999. For those of you asking when the sale will actually go through, I mean, I've heard different things. I know there were some reports that it was basically a done deal a few weeks ago. I don't necessarily know if those were accurate.
This text again. Please tell me, in what other sport does a head coach and GM have the record that Jones has and still have a job? I can't wrap my head around why he's still here. He's got to go. We need to figure out that needs to happen. That needs to happen.
This is teed up nicely for whoever buys this team.
Yes.
You can roll in here on day one, and your first move is, we're firing Chris Jones.
And nobody would debate it.
And everybody will sit there and go, got the right person running the team now.
Sounds like a Jeff Jackson movie.
It's just set right up for you. It's going to be very easy to try to spin this now. It's just sitting there waiting.
Yep. But so then that's when the wheels get moving, though. That's when it gets going. And only until then can it.
All right, let's get into the wrap right now for William Huff. They've been doing it since 1952, and it's one of the reasons we look so damn good on that new wall at the wall's
very
not
lifelike,
but it does. It looks good, right? Somebody said in that picture of us with the teeth, they're like, I can't tell who the real person is.
We should have had an Atif too, just at the side, like a little rapid teeth.
His head popping around the corner, into it. Next time you're at Commonwealth on the 28th, swing on by. It's in the East Concession by the beer line. Go get your photo with us. We're on the wall there.
Nice
you
red
go get
carpet.
Your photo. It's kind of cool. Check them out, www.williamhuff.com. Bruce and his team doing it right for a long, long time. All right, buddy. What'd you learn on the show today?
Well, I learned that there's still passion here, and I might get a little emotional. Look, nobody likes a loser. I shouldn't be confused. It is easy to support a winner. It sucks supporting a loser. But I still think, as evidenced by the tailgate yesterday, as evidenced by the people even walking around the concourse, there's something here, and there's a passion here, and people want a winner. And I think if a winner is delivered here on the football field, people will come back and support it. It's just we are in this purgatory zone now where we all know what needs to happen. And it'll happen eventually, but when it'll happen, we don't know. So right now, you're just continuing to play along, play up the string. If anything, though, again, the tailgate for this team, the fun is still there. Be like VR Montenegro. Come for the party. If you don't want to stay for the game, whatever. Certainly encourage it. But I think I learned this morning that the passion is great. This Monday, July 15, dog days of summer, and people were fired up. And I like that, because you should be. If you weren't feeling anything, then that'd be a problem.
Post-game
People are
show
mad,
was
and they
great
should be.
last
They
night,
should be
man.
mad. You should be angry. I'm not trying to pacify this. I know, again, and I've thought of Chris Jones in good light over the years, and I do still think that he's a good coordinator and a defensive mind, maybe wearing a few too many hats. But I'd rather you be mad at this situation than not feeling anything at all. And I think this morning, I learned that there's still a lot of passion, which is great.
I learned that this is a good idea from Raider Jesse. Guys, tell me we're going to have one of those gigantic pizzas at the Nasty Bash. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Big Mamas and Papas probably need 2 of those things.
No offense to the fish and chip platter out at St. Albert Rugby Club, but I'll go down on a big old
If we
pizza.
can make that happen, that'd be good. We wouldn't be able to fit them in. I have to put them on the
Outside
on the deck,
yeah.
on the patio. That'd be a lot of fun. All right, sound of the day today. Where do we go for the sound of the day today?
You did have a certain home run individual in the home run. We're going with Pete Alonso, right? We're riding on him today.
We're riding on Pete Alonso over at Coolbet at plus 320 to make it his 3rd home run derby championship. But you're thinking of going back to Teoscar again?
Why not? That was.
That's not a bad idea. Teoscar Hernandez. I think he's got like the 6th or 7th. Best odds or worst odds, I guess, if you want to view it that way, to win the home run derby tonight. But it doesn't mean he didn't have a home run banging song on the Nielsen Show.
Major Leagues. There's a high fly ball to right, and this ball's gonna go another home run. A grand slam for Teoscar.
Teoscar. Trev, you're getting it.
Oh yeah,
You're really getting it, Trev.
on that one.
Like the whole key there is you have to wait to the one moment, and then we all say Teoscar.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. That's all you have to do on that one. That's your sound of the day. Text of the day today for A and W, and this is big news today. Holy smokes! Wednesday 17th is National Hot Dog Day, and A and W's got you covered. Coming up on this Wednesday, enjoy an iconic whistle dog with cheddar cheese, bacon, relish, all served on the split wiener and a toasted bun, and you can enjoy your second whistle dog for only $1.
What a week!
$1.
Wednesday, 33.
It's classic Vogo here. Buy one, get one.
Buy one, get
Buy
one.
one full price, get $1 just for $1. July 17th, while supplies last.
Yep.
You got to put that in there because these wieners are going to be flying like Gager at Commonwealth.
It's the one item they need to put while supplies last, just because of the.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff for text of the day. By the way, huge shout out to Gager. He hooked you guys up.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Finished the broadcast last night. There's a box waiting there. There was 3 or 4 burgers, 3 dogs, and then an order of fries and chicken tendies.
Yes.
Real nice. The crew up in the booth just thinks I'm a hero. I grab a burger. I'm like, feel free, boys. And it's just like, it's like a lion pride.
You're splitting
when
them
the rest
and
get to
them out.
slide
Yeah,
in. They're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, rah, 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 like a bunch of vultures.
We
on
were,
Gage's leftover meat.
I got a pretty good appetite going for some reason midway through the game yesterday. And I don't know why, but we were eating a lot. The burger that Gager had. I then went and got onion rings, I think. I was
Yeah, you
walking
got
around
some
the-
onion
What
rings.
else? Did we get anything else?
The hot dog at Commonwealth is unreal.
I think I had a dog, too.
Oh,
I think I
it's
bought a
good, man.
dog.
The dog
next
is
time.
good.
I was waiting near the third quarter. They're kind of getting rid of stuff. I was just going, what do you got?
Yeah. The wiener to bun ratio on the dogs at Commonwealth is right where it needs to be.
Yep.
Especially because the bun gets a little soft.
Yep.
And it's like a good 65% wiener, 35% bun.
I take that.
Oh, it's real nice. Real nice. All right, let's get to your text of the day. You know, I want to get this is good. This isn't like one of those hilarious texts and everybody's like, oh my God, they said Elks win, more like Elks lose. Like this is This is a good one here. Tyler and Terwilliger, you're going to win a gift certificate to A&W today, but for just having like a well thought out text. Too many Devin Bookers in this city. Only want to talk about being a big guy when the team is up. I quit when the team sucks. I've never been prouder to be a season ticket holder for the Elks than now, because it takes a real fan to stick around and dig through the trenches in order to revel in the glory of watching success like we've all been too accustomed to seeing of this franchise in past eras.
Yeah, well said.
Tyler, more proud than ever before because he knows he's grinding through a dark time for the organization.
Yeah, the light will come. That's how it is. And an organization that, as he mentioned, a lot of good times. I'm a Riders supporter. You want to talk about darkness?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
I got it all for you.
Mix in the Ticats. Go look at the Ticats last 50 years.
And look at how many people go to the... I'm just saying. But the Devin Booker drop, really nice, too. I like
That's
that.
a nice one.
That's a good...
Yeah. Tyler and Terwilliger, congratulations, buddy. Your dedication to both the Paris Steelers inbox and the Elks wins you text of the day today. Will there be any Elks news today? Not holding my breath, but you never know. You never know how it plays out the rest of the day. Eric, what are you watching tonight, buddy?
I'm gonna take the old rock hopper, I think, out to the River Valley. To be honest with you, I mean, now that soccer's all gone, like we got the home run derby, but this week really, Riverhawks off, WCL All-Star Game Wednesday from Bellingham, which will be on MLB.com, MLB TV. 5 Riverhawks repping, but until then, it's kind of like home run derby tonight, MLB Tuesday. No more soccer, which is weird. Like at least had a match during the afternoon or evening that I could chew on. I mean, what else we got going on here? What am I missing? Congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz. I mean, Wimbledon's even done. Good on Savage, too, and Renee. They were down at the Jays Diamondbacks series. Jays getting a win for them yesterday.
Oh, beautiful.
They've been taking pictures and everything, having a great time down there.
Excellent.
Lourdes Gurriel bobblehead, I think, Savage got.
My God. The things are working out.
What are you watching? What are we
Savage
watching? I feel like I'm missing something.
I like to call it the Derb.
Yeah, okay. That's what we're watching.
Watch the Derb. You know what actually will happen tonight is my wife and I will catch up on House of the Dragon.
Actually,
we're 2 episodes behind now.
Might I also just suggest the series From?
Where's it from?
It's
Netflix?
on it's on Prime, I do believe.
And what's it called?
From. It's
But
like Lost.
where do you get it?
Prime.
But where's it from?
From. It's a Canadian show.
Okay.
And it's time. They get stuck in a loop. I think you'd really love
What?
it. Yeah. It's like Lost.
Okay, where's this? This is on, you say Netflix or Prime?
It's not Netflix. It's the other one. Yeah.
Prime.
Yeah, Prime.
It's called From.
Yeah, it's a television series.
All right. You know what? That might be one I watch on my own.
2 seasons. Yeah.
2 seasons? And we're just hearing about it now.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah.
And they even do it like when you watch Lost. Previously on Lost. They go previously on From.
Previously
like it's almost
on
the exact
From.
same thing. Yeah.
And why is it called From? Is it because where are they from? Like,
Yeah,
I like it.
Things happen.
I think I'm in.
Yeah.
You've convinced me.
Yeah. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
Yeah.
A Canadian show? Holy smokes.
Some of the actors are a little subpar.
This is amazing. All right. Look, fun show this morning. I thoroughly just enjoyed all of the
No guests.
conversation. Yeah. You don't need guests when the Elks are 0-5 and have a chance to force overtime and then kick it out of bounds with 8 seconds left, and then the defense could have made a play and stopped them, but instead Drew Brown gashed him for 29 yards right down the middle instead of a walk-off field goal for Lewis Ward,
Trey.
3rd straight time in a row.
We want Trey.
You know what? Trey Ford would have been out there. He would have picked that thing off and taken it back like his brother. Like his twin brother, Terrell Ford.
A listener-driven show this morning,
Yeah.
though, right? They were the guests.
No, I thought it was nice. Real fun time. Good discussion. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, just text them the link, email them the link, slide into their DMs on Facebook and send them the link. And if you're watching on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up before you leave and sub to the channel as well. We've got the Hangout coming up. Maddie and Tommy locked and loaded, ready to go. Autoplay will take you right on over to the Hangout today if you're watching on YouTube. You got a small dose of Whale and the Wolf. If you're listening on TuneIn and iHeart, that'll take you into the Hangout. I'll be back at 11 today with the Lock Shop. Huss and I'll be diving into the Home Run Derby, recapping a huge golf winner for the Lock Shop crew as well. Just a massive, massive weekend if you're riding with the Lock Shop. So congratulations on that. And then Tommy and I with the Oil Stream coming up at noon today for all of your Oilers fixes on Zach Hyman's golf tournament. My God, what a time to be alive. For YouTube Trev, Lieutenant Eric, I am Dustin Nielson. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate the support. Nielsen Show presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Check them out, southfortchev.com. Have a great day and take it easy.